all clubs are financially stable and don't rip off the fans. The aim is to make sure what happened to Bury, Derby and Reading doesn't happen again. Now, a significant reason clubs go under is because of dodgy owners financially mismanaging the club and running it into the ground. But in theory, these should be a thing of the past with the new regulator. They'll be able to use data from the National Crime Agency to perform stronger fit and proper persons tests and can even force owners to give up their stake in a club, which for certain supporters might be a welcome relief. It's likely good news for the EFL. The tension between them and the Premier League over a fair financial deal has been increasing in recent years. As it stands, talks have broken down. The Premier League backed out of recent negotiations, but the regulator will have the power to force through a deal, meaning more money for clubs lower down the pyramid. Now, this might sound simple, but in reality there's concerns this will open a legal can of worms, which could result in messy court cases involving the Premier League and the regulator. Parachute payments will be brought under the control of the regulator too. If they reduce them, it could mean a wider variety of clubs securing promotion to the top flight, but critics reckon it'll just mean the gap between the Premier League and EFL actually widens, as promoted clubs won't get as much money, which should normally be used to buy better players so they can compete. And current Premier League clubs have said if there were no parachute payments, they'd actually invest less, which would harm the quality of the top flight. And if clubs don't invest, then you'll get exactly what the EFL don't want, which is the same three clubs going down every year. And remember when Cardiff's owners changed the club's colours and badge? Well, in future, fans will have to approve any major changes to their club's heritage. Now, that might all sound great, but do we really need it? Some say the downfall of Reading and Bury is an exception, not the rule. So as a whole, the most successful footballing pyramid in world football doesn't need regulation. They say it scares investors who can help grow the game. If those investors go elsewhere, well, the Premier League may no longer be the destination for the best players in the world. And others, well, they just don't trust politicians to appoint truly independent people to regulate our game.
Good morning, Monday, January the 26th. It is 3 minutes past 6 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with On Clock's Real Sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale, and it's now on. Check out onlockclark.com. I'm Jeff Stelling. Carl, the Manchester United season ticket holder, has already been texting. He says, "Morning, Jeff and Gabby. Not surprised to see Gabby on this morning. Villa must have won. You know what? There were reports this morning of Ali McCoist being bundled into the back of a van on his way to the studio."
That's what happened. I wasn't meant to be working. After the final whistle, they said, "Gabby, can you work? Ali, you can't come in. Day off." That's right. How it works.
Yeah. I should just say, by the way, Carl goes on to say, another fantastic display by Michael Carrick's Mighty Reds. You're absolutely spot on. Actually, on both counts, really, Carl. Morning, Gabs, then.
Morning, Jeff. How are we, mate?
Yeah, well, I'm good, but probably not as good as you, so...
Do you know what? It was not expected, Jeff. That was the thing for me. It was like such a comfortable performance in the end from Aston Villa, and one that shows that even with the problems with injuries and transfers, that manager is doing wonders at that football club. Outstanding.
But you know what? When he talks about them, and he won't talk about them as contenders, he doesn't believe a word of that. You can see by his reaction to the goals.
Yes.
He believes that we're in this.
Oh, 100%. But players do it, don't they? You ask a player and they'll say, "Yeah, we just want to look at the next game," because you don't want someone to come back and haunt you with your words. If he says in the next week or so, "Oh yeah, we're contenders for the Premier League," and you lose a couple, and then you're 12 points behind, people can come back and say, what did you say? So he's just keeping himself calm. But Aston Villa, definitely the way Arsenal are stumbling and not wanting to win this Premier League, They're still in it, Villa.
Look, it could not have been a better weekend with Arsenal suffering that first home defeat all season. Was it a worrying performance from Arsenal? Still 4 points clear.
Yeah, it was just an odd performance, Jeff. It was a performance that we keep seeing from Arsenal recently. Liverpool game was the same. Forest away, you expect them to go there and win. To get 2 points from a possible 9 in the last 3 games is not the form to win Premier Leagues. Sorry, these headphones are horrendous. But it's not panic stations yet for Arsenal. Like you said, 4 points. It's still a nice, comfy lead in the moment. But my only worry for Arsenal is they haven't got many injuries at the moment. Man City have got Diaz, Stones, Gvardiol all out. They've got to come back. They're good at the running. Rodri's going to get up to speed game by game. So maybe Manchester City will come really strong, Jeff, last 10, 12 games.
Yeah. I got battered earlier in the season when I said that Arsenal needed to be more creative and not rely on set plays so much. But goodness me, even Patrick Vieira is saying precisely that now. They just don't create anything. No wonder. None of their strikers are in the top 20 goal scorers in the Premier League. Can you win a Premier League title without a goal scorer in the top 20 in the Premier League?
I think you can this season. How up and down Manchester City have been, how poor Liverpool have been, how poor Chelsea have been. I think this is the season they might get away with it, Arsenal. But I agree with you yesterday. They're dying for a goal, Jeff. The subs he brought on was like panic stations. It was four subs, then it was another one. It was like no one knew where they was playing. It didn't even help. Set piece, goal. It's like they are becoming set piece FC, Arsenal.
Yeah.
The talent they've got, it should be relentless attacks, relentless chances, but we're not seeing that. Gabriel Jesus, we big him up and then he doesn't turn up. Saka is at 4 Premier League goals this season. Not enough for him. Gyökeres, when you come on, didn't really offer anything. So not good enough for Arsenal.
Well, speaking after the defeat, Mikel Arteta said he needs to lift his players and give them a little reminder.
Because it's natural in the process of winning that you're going to lose a match, and it's how you react to that. And the first thing that you have to do is make sure that these guys know how good they are and how much we value what they are doing. And after that, put your head down, accept any criticism, any questions, and show on the pitch in the next opportunity, which is going to be in 3 days' time, how good we are again.
I thought Mikel Arteta, by the way, afterwards, after the game, handled himself with a lot of dignity. Yes. You know, he didn't blame fatigue. He absolutely refused to point to the number of matches and simply said, you know, United were the better team. So I thought he handled himself really, really well there. I didn't think the crowd necessarily handled themselves well, though, because you could sense the nervousness from... Well, pretty much as soon as United had equalised, you could sense how edgy the crowd were. So, I mean, you played the game, Gabby. Yeah. You know, do players feel that 100%. Nervousness amongst the crowd?
And it affects players. Because every time a player receives the ball, and, I mean, Eze come on, and he had a couple of touches, and the fans are on him straight away to hurry it up. But sometimes when you want to plan an attack, you've got to keep calm. You've got to take your time and find the right spaces. So it definitely affects the players. And I agree with you. It's the same against Liverpool. It was like this Arsenal fan base think that Arsenal should win every game 2-3-0 because of the squad of players they've got. And Liverpool have been poor this season and Manchester United have been poor. But it doesn't work like that. If they don't calm their nerves, it's going to affect the players.
Yeah. Andy, the Arsenal fan, says, Gabby, you're spot on. It's not panic stations yet, but it's an odd phase for us. We don't seem to have the get-out-of-jail card to win a game when we need it. Happily take Rodgers off you in the summer and offload Odegaard and Martinelli. Well, the phone lines were inundated on the final word last night, and one of those callers was Karim, who was furious about Mikel Arteta's handbrake on football.
Arteta with the handbrake. You don't want to attack. He tried to. I think that was the first time ever that he's made so many substitutions before the hour mark. But again, it's the same system. You've got all this firepower on the bench that everyone wants to talk about. But you're not, like, why not go 2 up front? Why not play Gyökeres with Jesus, who can hold up the ball better than Gyökeres? I just don't understand why every game Arteta just wants to put the handbrake on and, like, Liverpool, poor. Everyone seems to get points off this team. We couldn't. Forest. We just can't. It's just like everything's slow. Even when we went to 2-2, Ray has the ball. He's telling everyone to calm down, slow down. Marino, slow down. The problem isn't just the players. The problem is they've been built so much on the handbrake and to slow everything down that we're just always gonna be known as the team that finishes second.
Do they play with a handbrake on? I mean, look, I the finger being pointed at Arteta, but when you see he's starting Bukayo Saka, he's starting Trossard, he's starting Odegaard, it's an attacking side.
I disagree. It's an easy excuse there for some of the fans. When it was 2-2, Jeff, or when it was 2-1, straight away, Zubimendi's off. His defensive midfielder's off. He's trying to go attacking. He's bringing Marino on. He's bringing Eze on. Madueke come on in the end as well. He's throwing everything at it. So I disagree with that comment. I feel that would Arteta love to win 1 or 2-0 and keep it calm and keep it no conceding goals or chances? Yes, he would. But yesterday, I think he did go for it. But I just look at Arsenal, Jeff, and we don't like using the term bottling it, but are they doing everything they can to not win the Premier League? Because how many chances have they had to extend their lead to 9 to 12 points? And to get 2 out of the last 9 available points seems to me that they're doing everything they can to not win this Premier League.
Nick says there are games not to lose in a season. This is one of them. I'm not convinced Arteta has a winning mentality. He transmits negativity from the touchline. Can we swap him for Iraola? That's from Nick, who's in Hua Hin in Thailand at the moment. And Taylor says, morning, boys. 3 things certain in life: death, taxes, and you two giving Arsenal pelters. 4 points clear in the Prem, 7 in 7 in the Champions League. Taylor, look, mate, Arsenal don't get pelters very often. That's because they're top of the table at the moment. 7 in 7 in the Champions League. You'd have swapped a defeat against Inter in midweek for winning that game yesterday. Because frankly, in the league phase of the Champions League, it doesn't really matter very much. Whether you're 7 in 7, 5 in 7, whatever, you're going to go through to the next stages.
If they don't win it this season, though, Jeff, wow.
Yeah, I know.
This is the season to win it, Arsenal.
Yeah. Let's talk about Manchester United as well, because Alan, the electrician here, has been pulling me up. He says, I'm pulling you up in your comments a couple of weeks ago about United not being a big club on the pitch. Are you having a change of mind? Love the show, mate. Well, of course I am, because I tipped at the start of the season Manchester United to finish top 4, and I was being ridiculed. But, change of man in charge, and you can see a difference in the players and a difference in attitude, and it was best illustrated, I thought, by Mateus Cunha when they've been pegged back to 2-2. And he had one thing on his mind, and that was to get a strike off on goal, and what a strike it was.
Unbelievable goal, and that's what he can offer. But I could imagine, Jeff, this group of players would have been having secret meetings and secret discussions of this bloody formation under Amorim, it's not working. Why can't I play 4-3-3? Everyone in the world of football said, just play 4-3-3. You've got the players. Casemiro as a sitter, and Fernandes and Mainu in front. You've got the attacking players to play a front 3. And look at them now. And a special mention of Harry Maguire. 2 rock-solid performances.
He was brilliant.
So people like to ridicule him, but let's give him some praise because he's been top.
He was excellent. I thought Luke Shaw he had a top game as well. Bukayo Saka didn't influence the match at all, really.
No.
Jill's been on and said, morning, Jeff, Gabby. For once, I'm texting as a very, very happy red. How good was that answer? It was very, very, very good. Of course, Manchester United, the way things are going, they're going to give themselves a big problem, aren't they? Because they've appointed Michael Carrick as an interim manager until the end of the season. If this goes on...
There's no rush, is there, Jeff? Wait till the end of the season and say, where did we finish? Okay, then, and reevaluate it. If they finish in the top 4, I would give him a job. 100%.
Yeah, but they can't wait till the end of the season, Gabby, because, they're going to have... Well, one assumes they put an interim in place so that they can approach big-name managers who they can take after the World Cup. And obviously Thomas Tuchel is the first on the list. You can't, go to them at the end of the season and say that. There has to be some advanced planning in there.
And they might have learnt from the past of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing well and it doesn't work out. Maybe it's like, no matter what, you take it to the end of the season and you move on.
Yeah, but 6 points from games against Man City and Arsenal. Oh, my goodness.
They're back.
What a start Michael Carrick has made.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to give him plenty of the credit as well. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the back pages. And yes, of course, it is all about the game at the Emirates yesterday. That's next. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. It's one of the sort of ultimate sunshine songs, isn't it? A bit of Club Tropicana by Wham. Why are we playing it this morning? Because Andrew Ridgeley, one of the members of Wham, legendary members of Wham, is 63 today.
Good age.
Is that right up your street then, Gabby?
Good age, of course. Always.
Yeah.
We could do a bit of sun, Jeff, couldn't we?
We could.
Would be nice.
The mischievous production team here have asked me to ask you if you know who the other member of Wham was.
George Michael.
Oh, you see, nailed it. There was never a moment's doubt in my mind.
Thank you, Jeff. Full confidence in me.
I did. Andrew Ridgeley, the unsung part of the duo, no doubt.
Legends.
About that. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic songs. And Mark says, morning, guys. Can we please put in a call to Piers Morgan's hospital, see how he's feeling this morning, and if they need to up his medication today. Mark, thank you so much for your concern. Right, it's time to take a look through the back pages with Olivia Bazaglo. Hey, Olivia, how you doing?
Morning.
Morning,
do you know, sorry, I know you mentioned George Michael. There's a guy that plays for Paphos and it's called Georgios Michaels.
Oh,
How good's that?
yeah.
Does he sing? Don't know.
No.
Okay.
Yes, dominating the back pages, as you can imagine, is all Manchester United. The back page of The Guardian, stunners down gunners. The back page of The Eye, can you believe it? Can you believe it, Gabby?
I can. I did.
You did. That's the same headline on the back of The Star. On the Mirror, it's shaking the Mick. Oh, is it nervous around the Emirates? But this one, on the back page of The Telegraph this morning, obviously Patrick Vieira was on Sky's coverage of the game, and he's actually said after it, Arsenal lack mental strength. Do you agree, Gabby? He questioned their title-winning bottle after fans were booing after they lost their first home game of the season.
It's looking like it at the moment. Like I said, there's been many times where they've had a chance to go 9, 12 points ahead of Manchester City and Aston Villa, and they haven't capitalised. I mean, 2 points, like I said earlier, from a possible 9. Liverpool were poor, there for the taking, poor form. Nottingham Forest away, who were struggling, and you don't get the win there. Then to lose last night to Manchester United, who've had a manager in for what, a couple of weeks?
If that.
Yeah, it's showing, and it's giving Arsenal, they're not really like... They're nervous in this title race. They don't like being ahead. Maybe they want to be chasing. And I'm telling you now, Manchester City will be licking their lips right now.
Well, yeah, they will, but City themselves have got to answer a few questions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure whether they lack mental strength or not. You know, they lack creativity and they lack somebody to put the ball in the back of the net. That is for sure. Mental strength? Well, we'll find out over the next few weeks.
I was going to say, because we have seen Arsenal be in this position before, but I think the difference is this time they are by far and away the best team in the league, and they have been this season, which is why they are clear at the top. But they need to find goals from somewhere, Gabby.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the stat that Sky Sports put up, and Saka, Trossard, Gyökeres, Martinelli and Noni, the only one that scored a goal in like the last 11 is Trossard, and Gyökeres is one.
Gabby, that question. They haven't got a single goal scorer in the top 20 Premier League goal scorers. Not one. You know, you can't win a title if you haven't got a goal scorer like that, you know?
But it just baffles me when I watch them because they've got so much talent. I mean, look at the subs that he brought on yesterday. 4 of them in one go, and you're like, who's going to step up? Who's going to show that you want to win the league? Come on, you can't be losing 3-2 at home to Man United.
It felt like Declan Rice was playing on another level yesterday. It felt like he was the only one that was really up for it.
Then he pushes him back and he takes Zubimendi off, which was very hard. Declan Rice is better getting in and trying to score goals.
Do you think the nervousness around the Emirates is going to help? Because I was watching the game yesterday and it felt nervous. Obviously, there was boos at the end. I suppose as a former player, Gabby, if you're feeling that, the sort of from the crowd, can that affect you as players?
100%. Even when I've played in games where you're winning, Olivia and Jeff, and it's like the last 10 minutes and the fans are a bit edgy and they want you to just boot you out of play, but you're trying to play from the back. And you could feel that last night. And I had a couple of friends who went to the game and were at the Liverpool game, and they said 100% the fans are the problem. They need to relax. If they relax, the players will relax. Yes, they're professionals, they're internationals, but it's natural. If you go behind, relax. Like don't be so edgy.
But do you understand their frustration? Because Arsenal have been here before and they've messed it up before when they've had bigger leads later on in the season. Arsenal fans haven't seen a Premier League lifted
They're a bit like
at the Emirates.
They're a bit like the bridesmaids, aren't they? Not the bride. Yeah, is that what
Always
you're
the
saying?
bridesmaids, never the bride.
Yeah, it is giving me that, but I still think they've got enough this season to go and win the Premier League.
so do I.
I really do.
I'm
Ooh.
not 100% sure. You know, I mean, their next game is going to be a massive
Leeds away.
Leeds away. Where don't you want to go? Leeds away is definitely the
Especially with Forest and West Ham winning.
Yeah.
If Leeds lost tonight against Everton,
Yeah.
and then they're looking, oh, okay, we've still got a only 5-point gap. We need to go and get something against Arsenal and Ellen Road. Tough game.
It is a very tough game. And I think, like Mikel Arteta says, it's about the reaction now. It's not necessarily that game. There was a couple of worldies. Sometimes if a worldie is scored...
Zubimendi mistake, though.
Yeah, it was a Zubimendi
You don't expect
mistake.
that, do you?
No, yeah, you don't expect... But that's not the first time Arsenal have done
I
that.
agree.
Because they did it... Who did they do it against? They made a mistake against...
I can't remember the game.
Was it Saliba that gave the ball away?
Yes.
What game was that? But that's not very... We haven't seen that much from Arsenal.
No.
Is it, Gabby, a three-way title race? Or, I suppose, on level on points with Manchester City,
Yes.
you are.
Yep.
But does that Everton result last week, is that the reason why Villa won't be in a title race?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because, yes, Aston Villa lost to Everton. But look, yesterday, Arsenal lost, Man City have lost recently. I think it's about Aston Villa getting Tammy Abraham which I hear is nearly done. John McGinn's out for 6 weeks, which is frustrating. Kamara's out. So I still think the squad is quite small to really mount a title challenge. But Brentford at home next. If Arsenal drop points again, that could be down to 3 points, 2 points. So they've got every chance.
You sound like you're reading the official party line there. You know? So, well, we haven't got a big enough squad for the challenge. You know,
Where's my violin?
You know that everybody at Villa and every Aston Villa player believes they have a chance. And they were brilliant at St. James's Park.
Outstanding.
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
Could have won by many more than
Yes.
they did. I thought they were absolutely fantastic. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Emi Buendia in the back of the Sun, he sort of ignored what Unai Emery said. Because obviously Unai Emery came out and said they're not even contenders for the Champions League spots after that defeat to Everton, which was really weird. But Emi Buendia has said, we've got to fight until the end. We know what we want to achieve, and that is battling for the Champions League spots. A worldie from Emi Buendia, by the way, who's having an absolutely brilliant season.
Do you know what it is, Olivia and Jeff? Give Unai Emery top 4 now, he'd bite your hand off.
Yeah.
Because
Of course.
that's what he wants to be back in the Champions League. You get more money to spend, you can improve the squad, win the Europa League or the FA Cup, and top 4, shake your hand. I'll shake your hand now. It's nice to be up there. It's nice to be fighting, putting pressure on Man City and Arsenal. And I think he says we're not contenders because of how much money other teams are spending. They should be contenders.
Just takes the pressure off a little bit as
of
well,
course.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Top manager. We're very lucky to have him.
I think if Aston Villa finish 4th now, Unai Emery will be absolutely gutted.
You reckon?
Gutted. They're 9
4th.
points.
Yeah.
They're 9 points
Yeah.
clear of the 5th place side. They're in contention for the league. He is a winner, absolute winner. And I'm sure they're going to be much closer than that. Anonymous texter, Gabby, you do make me laugh. Last week, Arsenal were going to win the league, win the Champions League, and find world peace. Now they're wobbly, have a day off, but they've got 2 points from the last 9.
Exactly.
They are wobbly.
I'm just speaking the truth. Like, maybe you should calm yourself in the stand, my friend. Relax at the Emirates. Have a prawn sandwich and relax.
Brilliant. Olivia, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Coming up, problems for the Liverpool manager, Arne Slot. We'll discuss that next.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were absolutely sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895, they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money, but instead of entering league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. Think of it like the Harlem Globetrotters of football, and it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil, and the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest clubs in Brazil.
Good morning, 6:32. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Now, this morning, we're asking the question, how many problems does Arne Slot have at Liverpool? How big are they, and can he fix them? They've not won in the last 5 Premier League games. They're down in 6th place in the table, with sides breathing down their neck. Fulham just 2 points behind them. Brentford, Sunderland and Newcastle all just 3 points behind them. Gabby, is this a crisis at Liverpool?
Oh, I wouldn't say crisis. I look at them in the Champions League and they'll be through to the next stage of the Champions League. I look at Isak. Yes, hadn't started well in his Liverpool career, but he's a big miss at the moment. It was strange to see Ekitike start on the bench and play a false 9 in Wirtz. That backfired. Salah and Van Dijk, fantastic last season. Had no choice to give them the deals they did. But as that backfired, it hasn't worked. Van Dijk looks off it, very lazy for the first goal. After the game, complaining about the wind. That's a wild statement. Maybe Bournemouth should get a roof over their stadium, stop the wind coming in. Mo Salah looked off it again, Jeff. Doesn't get past anyone, lacking a yard of pace. Even some of his chances, he doesn't look like he's going to score. I think he's got a problem. I wouldn't say a crisis, but he's got a problem to get the best out of these players for the rest of the season.
But what if they were to miss out on a Champions League spot?
Then
where would that leave the club?
I think it's a big problem, of course, and I think he'd definitely be gone. I mean, I think he'll be gone at the end of the season no matter what, with Alonso waiting there and how poor this season has been. But if they miss out on the Champions League, that is a disaster for a club like Liverpool. It would feel very odd, Liverpool playing in the Europa League next season.
It would be a financial disaster for them, that is for sure.
Yes, and players have got to step up though, Jeff. I mean, Szoboszlai, another great goal. That's 8 goals this season in all competitions. He's been fantastic, the proper leader of the team for me. But other players, Gakpo, can you do more? Wirtz, can you do more? Salah, come on. Ekitike, when you come on, can you come to the party? McAllister, he's one that's not been spoken about a lot. He's done nothing this season. Can you chip in with some goals? We used to see McAllister scoring long ranges. Gravenberch, can you do more as well? Defensively, they're struggling. I know Canate's father died, so he's missed the last couple of games. Gomez has come in. They're short there, Jeff, as well. Frimpong and Kirkes. Kirkes poor against his old club, got involved too much in the emotional side of it, got dragged at half-time for Robertson. But when you look at Liverpool, Jeff, you look at a team that anyone should fear. Really, when you watch them? Can you see an identity from Liverpool when you watch them?
I mean, you talked about them defensively. What they clearly needed was a Mark Gahey in their side. And yet we hear from Gahey at the weekend that in the summer his medical was pretty much done. And yet Liverpool let him slip through their fingers. And now he joins Manchester City. Now, that's not on Arnie's slot, is it?
No.
There are other people at the club who have to carry the can for things like that.
I think that was more Crystal Palace at the last second put the plug on the deal, didn't they? Because they didn't get a defender they wanted.
Got to find a way.
Was it Julio who went to West Ham instead?
Yeah. But you are Liverpool. You
know,
have to
mate,
find a way.
And it's cost them. It really has, Jeff, because you look at the Premier League so far, 32 goals Liverpool conceded. More than double of Arsenal. Arsenal 17 goals. So defensively not good enough. And it's not just for this season, Jeff. It's going forward. Canate wants crazy money. They don't want to give him. Leone looks like a very good defender who got a bad injury. He'll be back in the summer. Van Dijk's going to be a season older as well. So they've got to, in the summer, go out and probably get 2 top centre-backs. Who's their right-backs? Conor Bradley, I really like him. But they need another one because Frimpong's probably better off the right wing. Left back, how dare they ever let Robertson go?
Yeah.
Strange. He's probably their best left back. And they're thinking of letting him go to Spurs. Very odd decision, Jeff.
So if defensively they've got issues, one thing that people don't seem to mention, and I know they've had problems with Isak at the other end, they're not on the top 10 goal-scoring teams in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Even Sunderland have scored more goals than them there. And I don't mean that with any disrespect to Sunderland, because they battle away brilliantly and have played brilliantly, but they're a newly promoted team. 16 home goals. West Ham, we bang on about what an awful season they have. They've scored the same number of goals at home as Liverpool have.
You'd never believe it, would you? If someone told me that, Jeff, in January, that stat, last year, I would have said no chance. Salah will be up there with the top goal scorers. We probably won 15 goals by now. But there's been a drop-off from everyone. They're not getting the goals from midfield. Curtis Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch aren't bringing in the goals. Szoboszlai saving the day. Gakpo is not your sort of player you'd say you want him to start every week. You know, they are missing Luis Diaz, who's been in fantastic form, Jeff. 14 goals, 9 assists in all competitions at Bayern Munich this season. Very strange to let him go and not replace him.
Yeah. Let's hear from the Liverpool boss, Arnie Slot, now. He reckons his side's biggest issue is fatigue.
We play a very intense Bournemouth team after 2 days ago playing a away game in Europe. The only team that played Champions League that has 2 days rest. All the others had more. But again, my players showed mentality, came back to 2-2, but I think it's fair to say that in the last 10 minutes you could see a few of them were tired.
Is that a reasonable excuse, Gabby?
No way. Not having it, Jeff. Not having it one bit. It's all good when it's going rosy and managers don't complain. You don't see the top managers complain about players being tired. Not at all. Look at the form of the players. Look at the games that they've had, Jeff. In the last 5 games, drawn 4, lost 1. You know, that it did have Gary McAllister on the weekend with Henry Winter, and he was saying he can't believe the drop-off from Liverpool. And some of those draws, Jeff, Leeds, Fulham, Burnley.
Yeah.
Very, very strange draws. 0-0. Was it home to Leeds? 0-0. Liverpool drawing at home 0-0. You never think you'd hear the day.
Do you think that there will be people within the Liverpool hierarchy who right now are questioning whether Arnie Slot's the right man?
100%. They'll be questioning the fantastic season last season, winning the Premier League in his first season. The drop-off has been so big. Is he getting the best out of these players? Or does he need a hand still? Because if you look at that squad of players they've got, they are thin. If you look at Manchester City and Arsenal's options, Jeff, and you look at Liverpool's, you're like, okay, on the left, we've got a young lad, Rio, who can help with Gakpo. On the right, we've got Frimpong, who is he a right back? Is he a right winger? Okay, he's the help for Salah on the right-hand side. Isak, yes, bad injury. He'll be back. Then you've got one in Ekatike. Number 10. Who's their number 10? Wirtz, Curtis Jones. Just look at the options Man City have got. Semenyo, Doku, Shirky, Foden. They're trying to get rid of Oscar Bob. Savino's got to come back. I think I'm missing some with Marmouche.
But it's very damning, isn't it, when you think of how much Liverpool spent during the course of the summer. And you have to ask the question is how many of those players actually were upgrades on what they already had.
You're spot on. And what we loved about watching Liverpool under the Klopp era, Jeff, we loved winning the ball back. Trent gets it back, and you've got Salah and Mane, fast runs in behind, no messing around. Can you see Gakpo and Salah doing that sort of movement now? You don't. They haven't got that speed in the attack that they used to have.
Nicholas has texted, he said, I've said it before, Virgil van Dijk is getting away with murder. All 3 goals against Bournemouth were on him, but nobody mentions his name. Worst part is he blamed the wind and waved his arms at his teammate. And I think it is fair to say, Nicholas, people do mention Virgil van Dijk. More and more people are focusing on him. He's having a difficult time, there's no doubt about that. But the whole defence is having a difficult time, so it's maybe harsh to point the finger at one man.
Yeah, harsh. I mean, in recent weeks he has been better than the start of the season, but he's not the Van Dijk of last season. Salah's not the Salah of last season. And I'll tell you something now, Jeff, they might have had no choice to give 2-year deals to players over 30 in the summer. But I'll tell you what, I don't see it happening again to you for a long time. Liverpool giving more than a year's contract, because I bet they'd love to have only signed Salah and Van Dijk up for a year, because I'm sure they wouldn't give him a new deal in the summer, the way they performed.
I mentioned the number of sides breathing down their necks. You know, there are already 6. Everton, by the way, they're breathing down their necks as well. And Liverpool's fixtures, they've got Newcastle at home and Manchester City at home, and then Sunderland away, who are now the only unbeaten side at home in the Premier League. You do wonder after those 3 league games just what the league table might look like.
100%, and they're not games that you'd say now, the way Liverpool are playing, that you'd guarantee them to win, Jeff. They could easily get 2 points out of those 3 games, the way Liverpool are playing. And the fight for the top 5, I think it'll be 5 for Champions League again, with how good the English teams will do in Europe. At the top 6 now, you don't see Liverpool getting into that top 5. I think I'd back Chelsea and Manchester United above Liverpool now. But like you said, that'll be a disaster financially for them.
Yeah.
To not go into the Champions League next season.
I mean, obviously, Arne Slot's position not helped by the availability of Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
If you were to look into the future, Gabby, first game of next season, do you think Arne Slot will still be managing?
No, I don't, Jeff. I see how poor this season has been. You look at him now, 14 points behind Arsenal, not acceptable, and they've backed him, Jeff. People might say they haven't backed him in January. They didn't help get Semenyo over the line. They didn't help get Gay over the line. That says it all to me, Jeff, of not getting those players in January. Maybe they pulled the plug on giving him money, because they've given him, was it 400 million in the summer? And look at what that's brought to the club. Ekitike, Isak. Did they need Isak? Do you know what I mean? Did they? Ekitike is probably the better player we showed so far this season. So for me, starting next season, I see Xabi Alonso definitely as the manager. And he's not in a rush, apparently, Alonso. So he doesn't need the job right now. He might say, yeah, let me get this season out of the way and wait till the summer.
Thanks, Gabby. Problems for Arne Slot and for Liverpool. Right, still to come on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
Need you ever, whatever the weather. Up the Arsenal.
Gabby's favourite Arsenal fan, Joel Baer, will be joining us a little later to look back on a tough night for the Gunners. Why was it so quiet at the Emirates? Manchester United, by the way, by contrast, brilliant. And Billy, the United supporter, has texted. He said, just driving to work after another fantastic win. And yet again, Harry Maguire was colossal. Just to think of all the nonsense he's had to put up with not so long ago online and in stadiums. He is a model professional. Billy, I think you are spot on.
And Jeff, remember people saying, they can't play as 2 centre-halves. Manchester United haven't got the centre-halves. Yes, they can. Been saying it for ages. Play 4-3-3. Maguire can play Martinez. It's a perfect centre-half pairing.
Yeah. Maguire, exceptional yesterday. Thought Martinez did well as well.
Yeah, agreed.
03717 223344 is the number to ring and have your say. If you're an Arsenal fan, just what is the problem right now? And Manchester United, how optimistic are you? And is Michael Carrick the man to take you forward in the long term? Crystal Palace legend John Solarka, he'll be joining the show to explain just what on earth is going wrong at Selhurst Park. Do they need to make a change now to prevent themselves being dragged into the relegation battle? And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast Preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me today. Piers Morgan been tweeting. He said we should have gone 9 points clear last weekend. Now we are wobbling again, playing way too nervously / defensively. We've been on this rodeo for the last 3 years, and I refuse to let us do it again. Our players need to put their big boy pants back on and attack our way to the title. Here's one for you. Noel in Northern Ireland's texted. It says, Man United win 2 games in a row and the missing red shirts are out on the streets again. Wonder how long till they're calling for the failed ex-Middlesbrough manager Michael Carrick to go. Settle down, all the Arsenal haters. Arsenal will win the league in a canter. The league is over and has been since mid-November. Thank you, Noel.
If they do win it, Jeff, it could be one of the most underwhelming league titles ever from Arsenal. Set piece United could win a league with that. But Piers Morgan, don't hear of him, Jeff. Only when Arsenal have a big win, he comes on here, Jeff, and he wants to talk for 10 minutes. When they lose, you don't hear of him. A ghost.
Yeah. It won't. If Arsenal win the league, they won't care how they've done it. Won't care how they've done it at all. Connell says Manchester United are a team playing a maximum of 1 game per week against big boy teams, playing 3 games a week. But yeah, big boy teams have got to get used to playing 3 games a week, Connell.
Arsenal got two different sides to play.
Yeah, exactly.
The squad's that good. Ranieri's had to go to Marseille for game time.
Yeah. Yeah. Other headlines this Monday morning. Hearts fought back twice to win a 2-2 draw with 10-man Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. They are 4 points clear of Rangers at the top, with Celtic a further 2 points back. Seattle Seahawks will face the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60 after claiming a thrilling victory over the LA Rams. You can hear exclusive in-stadium commentary of that final on talkSPORT. And the pressure continues to build on Thomas Frank at Spurs after a draw against Burnley, a last-gasp equaliser from Christian Romero. Many fans are fed up with Thomas Frank, but the Spurs manager had this message for the fans.
First and foremost, thank you for travelling and be behind the team and do everything they can to support throughout. They were very, very good, so very thankful for that. My message is that we are working very, very hard to do everything we can to get more points on the board, especially in the Premier League. If you look at it's my job also to see a little bit the bigger picture. So if you look at that, especially in the first half, I think was very good going away from home. And then there's bits we need to improve. And then the way we ended the game, I think we did more than enough to win the game here. Unfortunately, we are just in that spell there where it's very tough to win football matches in the Premier League, and that we need to keep working on and do better.
2-2 draw away at Burnley, rescued by a last-minute equaliser. And obviously the speculation is that Christian Romero's goal maybe saved Thomas Frank's job for the time being.
I think so. But, Jeff, it was Friday. We done a show with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook. And Sam Matterface said, this is the game, where it should be a comfortable win for Spurs. And me and Crookie says, I'm not sure. I'm really not. And you didn't expect them to go there and win. They've got the players, Jeff, but they can't put back-to-back performances. Yeah. Spurs, they really can't. Dortmund, down to 10 men. And it's a different standard, isn't it? Bundesliga.
8 points clear of West Ham, who are revitalised, it seems, at the moment. Tottenham's next 5 games, Man City at home, Man United away, Newcastle and Arsenal at home, and Fulham away. It begs the question, could they get dragged into this?
Of course they could. And so can Crystal Palace. We'll come on to them later. I'm looking at Crystal Palace's record in the last 6, lost 4, drawn 2. They're in turmoil, but definitely Spurs. You read out those games, Jeff. Big problems because the teams below them, Leeds, Forest and West Ham, they're confident, they're winning games, they're up for the scrap. Spurs players don't look like they would be up for a scrap relegation battle, so big trouble there.
Yeah, not up for a scrap, possibly with the exception of the central defenders.
Yes.
Right, it's time now for a bit of this.
How can you not love the EFL when it throws up moments like this?
Here's Hawk!
Oh, it's come back to Zamora!
Tick off again! City fans can't believe it. What a match!
Windass! Quite simply destined to be from Team Windass.
We're in London. Hey, we're in London, aren't we?
Leeds can beat you 4-1. They're a fantastic team. But we had someone in the bushes that day twice this season now.
No sirve para nada.
I didn't know I would have such a reaction.
That ghost didn't head one in on Saturday. We didn't defend properly, you great chicken nuggets.
We hear that Jimmy Glass, the goalkeeper, has scored for Carlisle.
You just never know which twist any game is going to turn next.
Must I forever
time to take a quick canter through some of the biggest EFL stories of the weekend. I mean, everybody's talking about Michael Carrick at the moment. But his replacement, Kim Hellberg, not many people knew much about him, I think, in this country. doing brilliantly at the moment. They've won the last 4 league games. They've scored 13. In recent times, you don't really associate Middlesbrough sides with scoring a lot of goals. They beat Preston 4-0 the weekend. They're 3 points behind Coventry at the top, 5 ahead of Ipswich and Hull. And it's done a brilliant job, Gabby. Brilliant job.
And it's good to see, Jeff, because I remember playing against Middlesbrough in the Premier League. They shouldn't be down there. I know we shouldn't say that. We teams shouldn't be in the Championship or League One, but a club like Middlesbrough, you want to see them back in the Premier League, especially Sunderland back up there now. So good for the North East. But he's got a good squad of players as well, hasn't he? Same as Coventry, same as Ipswich. Hull flying as well. Millwall. What are Millwall doing, Jeff? Like, outstanding this season.
The thing about Hellberg, I think, is he's getting the best out of players who had been struggling. Morgan Whittaker's a classic example, but he's got 11 goals now this season. He's back to the sort of form who made him a hot property at one time. Coventry, by the way, they didn't play at the weekend. They played tonight. They're away to Norwich. Now, promoted sides, right at the start of the season, I thought the promoted teams would struggle. Ipswich have been the exception, though. They lost at the weekend at Sheffield United. But Leicester bit the bullet. They've sacked manager Marty Cifuentes at the weekend after their home loss against Oxford United. I mean, they are 14th in the table. They've lost 11 times, 20 points behind Coventry.
What's the problem with Leicester, though? Is it some of the players that have come from the Premier League? I know they've still got Ndidi, AU, some of the players that were in the Premier League.
I think they lost a lot of players, didn't they? I mean, right from Jamie Vardy onwards.
But you look at some of the players they have got, Jeff. They've got some real good attacking players, haven't they? But they're not really turning up to the party this season. But you've got to be careful as well, even Leicester, because they're only 9 points off.
Yeah.
Their bottom.
And Southampton are down there as well. I mean, obviously, they played at Portsmouth yesterday, shared the points. Better result for Portsmouth than Southampton. They clamber out of the relegation places, but only just.
Look at Blackburn, Jeff.
Oh, they're in desperate trouble. I met a lot of Blackburn fans while I've been travelling around the country this season, and it is doom and
no wins
gloom.
in the last 6.
Yeah, bottom 3 at the moment. So, in League One, Cardiff 4 points clear at the top of the table, but there was a bit of an injury scare, a lot of an injury scare actually against Stockport. Their 12-goal top scorer, Yusuf Salek, was injured. He had 13 minutes of treatment on the pitch, was stretchered away, ended up in hospital. But relief from the Cardiff perspective is there is no serious injury reported, and he was sent home that day. The game ended 1-1 against Stockport. Good result for Stockport, really, who's sitting 5th place in the table. And another manager to lose his job, Pete Wild at League 2 Fleetwood. Came a day after I was in Fleetwood. Had nothing to do with me, Pete. Nothing to do with me at all. Lost 6 of the last 7. But how fine the margins are. They've lost 6 of the last 7. It looks awful, doesn't it? 5 of those 6 defeats were by the odd goal.
Yes. Frustrating, but that's football. What about, Joe? I want to ask you about Bromley. How good are they doing?
Unbelievable.
So I've been to their stadium, and like just off the main road, and how small it is.
Yeah.
And they've got a chance of going into League One. What a story that is.
They've got a brilliant. I mean, they're 6 points clear now.
Yeah.
6 points clear. They beat Swindon, one of their nearest rivals at the weekend. Nicky Kabamba, little spell at Hartlepool. He got the late winner for them as well. But Andy Woodman has done a fantastic job.
Incredible.
I looked at Michael Cheek. I was taking the mickey gently. I was in Bromley doing a theatre show on Friday night. And I run through players who haven't scored for a long time, Joe Gomez, Norton, 281, that sort of thing. And I got to Bromley and I said, and everybody's got one who hasn't scored for a while. I said, you got Michael Cheek, 0 in 1. Because he is so prolific.
Yes.
Has been so prolific. He's Norton 2 as it happens, I think, now. But so prolific.
Think how well they're doing, Bromley, if they come up and they're doing well next season. New stadium, or is that something they would look at?
No, I don't think they would. I think they'll. I think they're a very, very well-run club. I spoke to their owner a couple of seasons ago when we were down there. We won 2-1 as it happens. But he was saying then, because they had a chance of the playoffs at the time, and he was saying then it's too early for us.
Too early.
Give us a couple of years. They had to obviously. They had an artificial pitch. That's not acceptable in the Football League.
Okay.
So they had to dig that up. It was a huge community asset and a huge money earner as well.
Yes.
So what they did was they built another artificial pitch alongside the current ground.
Yes.
So I think they're very realistic about where their place is, and of course they want to make progress like any side, but I think the hierarchy there have got it absolutely spot on. And Andy Woodman certainly has. Brilliant job he's done.
And it's a competitive League Two. MK Dons have spent a lot of money. They've got some big players in.
Yeah, they have.
Yep.
Yeah, and people would have questioned the Bromley being up there at the start of the season, but hey, they have put everybody in their place. Coming up, Gabby's been waiting for this since Cunha's goal went in. Arsenal fan and content creator Joe Bayer is with us next to try and defend his team after that defeat yesterday.
To succeed, people often say you need to think outside the box. In sports, every now and then someone does just that and comes up with a crazy idea for an exhibition event that nobody else could have dreamt up. Here are some of the most iconic we've ever seen. I mean, what an image. This was the setting for the Battle of the Surfaces in 2007 between Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal. The courts in Nadal's home of Mallorca reportedly took 19 days to build and cost £1.2 million. The players had to change their shoes every time they changed ends, and despite some dodgy bits of grass, they slugged out an epic three-setter, won by Nadal. But that's not even the most famous exhibition in tennis, because in 1973, we got the Battle of the Sexes, watched by 50 million people in the US alone. Billie Jean King's victory over Bobby Riggs was not only a landmark event for entertainment value, but also for its impact on the fight for gender equality in sports. I mean, the Battle of the Surfaces never got turned into a movie. Now, Imagine a motor race that involved American Indy cars and European F1 cars. Well, that happened twice, back in 1957 and 58. The race of the two worlds took place at Monza and was nicknamed Monzanapolis. Despite legends like Sterling Moss, Phil Hill and Mike Hawthorne racing the F1 cars, the Americans won both years. Fans and the teams loved it, but it didn't make enough money, so got canned. For its cast list alone, though, the greatest exhibition might have to go to the Princess Diana Memorial match at Lord's. Mike Atherton captained a Marylebone Cricket Club side with Sachin Tendulkar leading a rest of the world 11. Names like Wasim Akram, Zurav Ganguly, Andy Flower, Anil Kumble and Glenn McGrath turned out. The one-dayer, won by the rest of the world by 6 wickets, raised more than £1 million for the Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. Incredible all round.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Gabby, somebody called Feltz has texted.
Oh, good morning, Feltz.
Good morning, Feltz. Yeah, he's called us two Herberts.
Oh, yeah. What's a Herbert?
Well, I think he's flattering us. I assume so, only because I'm thinking of famous Herberts.
Yeah.
Former US President Herbert Hoover.
Ooh.
H.G. Wells, one of the great authors, his first name was Herbert as well. So, Feltz, thank you so much, mate.
I'll take that as a compliment,
Yeah,
Herbert. I like that name.
Herbert Agbonlahor.
Just goes, isn't it?
And
Easy.
Herbert Stelling. Yeah.
How old am I if I'm Herbert Agbonlahor? Am I 92?
Brilliant. Anyway, yeah, thanks for the text, Feltz. Now, it was a crazy day in the Premier League yesterday as Arsenal dropped yet more points in their title charge.
First, congratulate the opponent for what they've done, and then realize that we weren't at the standards that we need to win a match like this against this United team.
Arsenal got weak mentality. It's his game management. He's not fit to be our manager.
We seem to be relying on set pieces too much.
I don't think they need to set up. I think they just need to keep the momentum going. Just get it down and play. Set plays in and around the box and around the halfway line. Just get on with it.
You spend £63 million on Eze, £52 million on Madueke, and he just can't get them into the system. If Arteta doesn't get over the line this season, he's got to go at the end of the season. He's been back.
He's got to go at the end of the season. Wow.
Oh.
I think many Arsenal fans are thinking that.
Not at the moment, no, but they will be thinking it if Arsenal do not win the Premier League.
Yeah. Well, let's find out with a regular on the show now. Ultimate Arsenal fan, really. Presenter, your best mate.
Oh, good guy.
I thought he'd be in the studio, but he's not.
Maybe there's no trains.
Oh, right.
Or maybe he's not allowed at his house unless Arsenal, win.
It may well be the fear factor. So from a distance, let's say, good morning, Joel Bayer. Morning, Joel.
Good morning, Joel.
Good morning to Jeff and only Jeff. How you doing? You okay, mate?
What are you wearing?
It's a suit for the funeral yesterday because we got absolutely killed playing against Man United. And I'm gonna be wearing this all day round. By the way, I really will be because I'm shocked, disappointed, sad.
So we heard from a fan there saying, if they don't win the title this year, that Arteta's got to go. It's a bit knee-jerk, isn't it?
Look, I'll be honest with you, mate. I like to keep it political. Everybody knows I do Arsenal shifts sometimes, so I'm very careful with what I say. All I can say is that I'm with whatever the club want to do at the end of the season. You know what I mean? I support Arsenal Football Club. I'm not about the individuals, but yesterday was not good enough. It really wasn't, and we got punished for it, deservedly so. Did you manage to support your team yesterday, or was you too busy videoing the game, Joel? I don't know. No. First of all, I don't know what that means. And secondly, no comment, mate. I'm only answering questions from Jeff today.
I mean, it's something I think we've said here on the station most of the season, to be honest, Joel, that Arsenal, despite, the strength of the squad, despite the money spent, they lack creativity. How do they overcome that? You can't win a title, can you, based around set plays?
Jeff, how the heck are we going to have Eze and Odegaard, and we're struggling for creativity? Like this, it completely surprises me and it shocks me. Yes, set pieces have been good for us, but we got to wake up, man. The lack of goals is absolutely insane. Trossard is our top goal scorer right now. 5 goals in the Premier League. It's not good enough. Last week I was talking about spreading the play and how happy I was. This week I'm not happy because it's ridiculous. We can't count the Champions League. We've got 2 points out of our last 3 games. This is not championship winning form, and we should have been like 12 points clear at the moment. We've put ourselves in huge jeopardy. 4 points is nothing to Man City and Pep Guardiola. It's really not.
And Villa. Okay, and I just want to ask you, Joel, Saka, 0 goals in last 13 appearances in all comps. Gyökeres, 0 non-penalty goals in last 11 Premier League appearances. Martinelli, 0 goals in last 13 Premier League appearances. Madueke, 0 goals in last 25 Premier League appearances. And Trossard, 1 goal in last 11 appearances in all comps. What's going on, mate?
Well, if I was talking to you, mate, I'll say it's absolutely shocking. It's poor. It's not good enough, is it, really? I love defending my team. I love defending the players. And I don't want to be one of those guys that just comes on and you just start hammering them when it goes left. But we have to address the issue. Like, I saw those stats yesterday and I was frightened. I was literally frightened. I thought someone would just, put it together. I thought it was like a random graphic. But look, you got players like Cherky who have got 7 assists in the Premier League, and he hasn't even been, a mainstay in the team since Semenyo's come in. They've got creativity across the board that they're dropping their most creative players. It's ridiculous. Like, we've got to fix up. If I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm going to that training ground today. I'm showing them those stats, and I'm saying, guys, this is it. This is the truth. You can't run away from the facts. You guys need to get your act together ASAP, immediately.
Will the dog be there while he's showing the stats?
What, Win?
Yeah, will Win be there?
Gabby, I'm trying to be serious here, mate. I'm trying to be serious.
So, look, I mean, Arsenal fans are having their doubts, aren't they? You've got to go to Man City yet. And probably the last game you want in terms of the Premier League next up, Leeds away. Now, you can imagine what the Leeds fans are going to be. Ooh, they are going to be baying for Arsenal blood.
No, this is what I mean, Jeff and Gabby. This is what I'm not happy about. If Liverpool or Man City are at their pomp, no one's going, they're going to go to Leeds away and they're going to struggle. Leeds, Calvin Lewin. Look, honestly, they've done really well recently. Big ups to them, etc. But the reality is we should be winning these games with our eyes closed and our shades on. Like me, we should be. But all of a sudden, every game is a struggle. Nottingham Forest. Liverpool at home. United at home. We could fumble it if we're not careful, We could.
Do you think that the squad of players and even the fan base, how nervous they are during games at the moment, they're not used to this? The players are not bottling it, that's harsh, but they're just crumbling, maybe? Is that a better word, Joel?
Who said we're nervous, Gabby?
You sound nervous.
No, mate, I've just had a crazy night and, the lights are on my shades. That's why I'm not nervous, mate. When it comes to the fans, you have to remember it's been, 25 years, more than 20 years, basically. And you can just feel it because you think about the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So that's why every loss is it's like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen again. We've been in a position where, come January, we're way ahead. And all of a sudden, City have come back and they've overtaken us. And we have to be careful. We're still 4 points clear. That's the most important thing. But honestly, it could happen. I've seen it before.
He's frightened, Jeff.
He is. But I get the point. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since they've won the title. And, so they're bound to be a bit apprehensive when things start to go a little bit wrong. I've got a text here from JF. He says, Arsenal are top of the Champions League and being top of the Premier League all season. All teams have a dry spell. You know what, Jeff? Doesn't matter who's top of the Champions League now or who's top of the Premier League now. It's what happens in May that counts and where Arsenal are then.
It's true.
Look, still 4 points. At the start of the season, Joel, if somebody said, end of January, you're going to be 4 points at the top of the table, you'd have bitten their hand off, wouldn't you?
I would, but not with Gabby doing those faces right next to you. I would, but if it meant that, I might say no. But, look, we'll see. I had a prediction that we'll be wrapping it out by the start of May. I'm not so sure now. It might be the second week of May.
May? I thought you said March.
You said March, not May.
I did not say stop winding me up, guys. I said May.
we got receipts, Joel. You said March, mate.
Joel,
oh my gosh.
Thanks. Have as good a day as you possibly can, mate.
Enjoy yourself, mate.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Bye.
Hey, the guy who called us two Herberts. There's another one. Jake has texted and said there was Herbie Hancock as well. Yep, Herbert Hancock, great American jazz pianist
Top name,
and composer. So I'm so flattered by that compliment that he called us two Herberts. Don't forget, Arsenal fans, if you are as concerned as Joel by the creativity issue, give us a call. 03717 223344. Where are your goals going to come from? Plenty more throughout the show, but this one is for Joel to cheer him up.
Need you ever, whatever the weather. Up the Arsenal.
Very good morning to you. It is 7:18. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby. Agbonlahor, just a quick word, by the way, from Craig in Hockley in Essex. He said, disappointing most of the reaction this morning is about Arsenal dropping points and the lack of creativity. The fact is United were brilliant for 70 minutes, scored 2 worldies. They deserve the win and deserve a bit more praise. And he says, we're back, baby. Craig, you're dead right. 2 brilliant goals, and by the way, the other one, Boomer took it brilliantly as well. And I think that United's improvement has come right from the back because the goalkeeper, Lemons, has been very good ever since he arrived there. And I questioned him because he was a young goalkeeper who'd come from playing in front of small crowds. But my goodness, he's been brilliant.
If Harry Maguire keeps this up, I'm sure he'll break back into that England squad.
Maguire, Alessandro Martinez, excellent as well. So United deserve a lot of praise, that is for sure. Yeah. All right, it's time now for a bit of this.
You're unbelievable.
It's a shocking decision.
Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff.
They're trying to re-referee the game. That's not what it's there for.
Jeff, you will not believe this.
Keep your flag down.
I told you!
No way.
I told you!
VAR, go away! Dave Bassett will not believe this.
It's a goal! It's a goal!
The crowd cannot believe it. What?
Oh! Miles over the line!
Boo! That's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
That isn't a penalty. I'm absolutely astounded.
You're unbelievable, Jeff.
A grip from King's Lynn, Gabby says, Herbie the movie.
What's a film?
Yeah, so they've named us after a movie.
It's getting better and better. Yeah, it's getting better and better.
Olivia is back with us. Hi again, Olivia.
Good morning, Olivia.
Hello. I'm usually in bed by this time on a Monday morning.
Must be nice.
Don't know what's happened. Right, unbelievable ref is what we've got coming up today, because there was a few decisions in the Premier League this weekend that have got people talking. So the first one we're going to talk about is the JD Canvo handball in the Crystal Palace against Chelsea game. Now, the outcome of this was a penalty and a yellow card. Now, it's a little bit confusing because I don't know if you know of Dale Johnson. Do you know Dale Johnson? He's the football issues correspondent for BBC Sport, focuses a lot on VAR. He posted the IFAB ruling for a non-deliberate handball, and it says, when a defender prevents the ball from going into their own goal with their hand or arm, but does not deliberately handle the ball and does not make their body unnaturally bigger, what is the correct decision? It is the referee allows play to continue as this is not a handball offence. So to me, that JD Canvo one is the perfect example of that. His arm's by his side. It does hit his hand. It is going into the back of the net because the goalkeeper is in no man's land. However, the Premier League came out and they put on their match centre, which is their official, when they come out and sort of give the reasoning for decisions, and says, and the law that they've gone with is when a player denies the opposing team a goal or an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by committing a non-deliberate handball offence, the referee awards a penalty and a yellow card. So that's what they put on their match centre. After review, the ball hits Canvo. It's accidental, not deliberate, so it's a penalty and a yellow card. Where on earth do you stand on that handball decision? Because IFAB are saying one thing, but it feels like the Premier League might be saying another.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Olivia, but
nobody knows, Gabby, and that's what that proves.
Yep.
Yeah.
But watching the goal, the penalty, and seeing the incident, I would say I would want a penalty if that was my team.
However, so Dale actually tweeted saying there was a handball appeal against Harvey Barnes in the Everton-Newcastle game on the 29th of November, and a corner hit Barnes on the arm, which was next to his body as he stood on the line. It would have been a goal, but it wasn't given.
So it's the same incident.
Play on. So it's the same incident, but they've got 2 different outcomes.
Look, nobody knows. Nobody knows what is handball and what's not. Far more alarming for me in that, we can all argue about what handball is. That Darren England, who was the man in the middle, the man in control, we are led to believe did not want to give a penalty, but was pressured into it by the VAR. That cannot, under any circumstances, be right. The VARs, they need to know their place. The man in the middle, in this case, Darren England, he should have had the call on it. There should be no pressure put on him by the VAR. But reportedly, that is what happened. And I think that is opening up a whole kind of worries.
Yeah, so that's okay. So that one, so you both think probably it's the wrong decision.
It's
penalty
hard, isn't
in
it? Yeah, it's
yellow
hard.
card.
It's if it was my team, it was against Villa, I'd say
You said you want a penalty.
I'd want a penalty on. I could see why it wouldn't be given.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is the Mosquera handball in the Manchester City Wolves game. Now, the decision here was no penalty given on field. The referee went over to the monitor, and it was Farai Halam in his first Premier League game, and he deemed that Mosquera's arm was in a natural position. So we very rarely see referees go over to the monitor and stick with their original decision.
Yep.
That's what Farai Halam did. Did you think Mosquera's arm was in a natural position when he was defending?
Yes, I didn't think it was a penalty at all, and I love the way the referee went over and didn't change his mind. And Pep's got to be careful the way he's speaking about some of these referees. Like, it's his first game. Give the guy a break. Pep, he has to stop the way he's speaking after games.
That was really disappointed with Pep's reaction.
Yeah.
Really disappointed with his reaction. I mean, he suggested that Farai Halam was basically trying to make a name for himself because it was his first game. And I thought that was an offensive remark.
So similar to Aina, wasn't it? To Aina at Nottingham Forest. Last week, similar sort of incident. I didn't think that was a penalty either.
I mean, it was Darren Cann, who was one of our best assistants, for many, many years. He's come out in support of Farai Halam and said it was an excellent, correct and courageous call. And I would absolutely agree with him.
I think it was refreshing to see someone go over there and stick to their original decision. I think the frustration is on the other side, if we look at the other side point of view, is that we've seen that penalty given quite a few times.
Yes.
So I think that's the issue.
During that incident, didn't it play carry on and then someone hit the post?
Yeah.
As well. So
yeah. Okay, did you see the Maguire handball in the United game?
It
was one of those. So Marino's having a shot from the edge of the box, but Maguire's coming in to block it, sort of. It's like slipping as he does it.
Was low,
He's putting his arm down, almost to balance. No penalty given.
No penalty.
Do you agree?
Yeah, no penalty because he didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Your arms have got to be somewhere.
And I think he's literally going down and he's going to balance on that right arm. Okay, the next one. The West Ham penalty in the Sunderland game. This is Ollie Scarles is going through and was nips sort of back across Tri-Hume and sticks his leg out, and it's almost like thigh-on-thigh contact. He tries to pull away, but he does catch him. I think Ollie Scarles does make the most of it, but there is contact.
It's 100% penalty.
They've been given for years, those penalties.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the contact, it's a penalty.
Yeah, 100% penalty. Big performance, by the way, from West Ham in the first half. In particular, Sunderland were really, really poor.
More like it, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, much
Somerville
more
and Fernandez, big money they both signed for, finally turned up to the party.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay, and the last one is an offside call in the Fulham-Brighton game. It was Danny Welbeck. So the goal was obviously given on field. It went to VAR. They then disallowed it, deeming that Danny Welbeck is in an offside position. Now, when we say Danny Welbeck is in an offside position, he is very much in line with the Fulham defender. And the part of his body which is offside is the bottom part of his shirt sleeve. So that was the part that was deemed offside.
What happened to margin for error that we heard about 2 or 3 weeks ago? 5 centimetre margin for error. They make it up as they go along. And they think as football fans we're all idiots, that we can't remember what they said 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's nonsense. The goal should have stood.
You see, even like the Semenyo goal that was disallowed against Newcastle.
In the League Cup. In the League Cup.
In the Carabao Cup.
And then
do you know they changed the rule?
In the following day.
They changed the rule on that night after that goal. And the next day, the Gyökeres one, Gyökeres' offside was given. They're like, because we changed the rule last night. Like you said, Jeff, it's a shambles at the moment.
That one was definitely, I think no one would, that was onside, wasn't it?
I
swear, like, back in the day, it was like advantage to the attacker.
You know what I mean?
There's just no advantage to the attacker anymore, is there?
No. Well, I don't know, because as I say, it changes week by week by week. So anyway, never mind. Olivia, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I've got a couple here from Dan the Hammer says, don't forget the boxer Herbie Hyde. How could we? And of course, if you want to look back far enough, one of the great all-time managers, Huddersfield and Arsenal, etc., Herbert Chapman. We are so pleased to have been called a pair of Herberts this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, what an accolade that has turned out to be. Yeah. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the implosion at Crystal Palace. Do they need to make a change now to prevent themselves being dragged into a relegation battle? That's next.
boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the tax man at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Good morning, 7:33. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark's Real Sale. Huge savings to be had on over 20,000 used cars. James in Chesterfield, by the way, just said the greatest Herbert of all time, played football for Spurs, but went on to have statues at Arsenal, was banned from football for life. I didn't know this, but he went on to win multiple titles with 2 clubs, was doing diets and training techniques before Wenger was born. That's Herbert Chapman again. Of course, I didn't know he's banned from football for life. Right, let's take a look at Crystal Palace, shall we? Losing 3-1 at home to Chelsea yesterday afternoon. Winless in 11 games now in all competitions. Disruptions off the pitch, of course, with a lot of speculation over Oliver Glasner. Well, not speculation. We know he's leaving at the end of the season. The question is, will he leave before the end of the season? After that defeat against Chelsea, Glasner was asked just how difficult a position Crystal Palace are in at the moment.
There are a few obvious reasons, with the tight schedule, and then coming injuries and players looked a little bit, let's say, overplayed, fatigue. Then it's step by step, and all of a sudden you are in a downward spiral, and it's now for us to get this cut. But I know this group of players, I know my staff, I know myself, I know the board, so we will all now stick together and get this turnaround, because again, I haven't seen a team that is without any chance to win the game. I haven't seen a team that gives up. I haven't seen a team with massive problems in their structure. Yes, individually we make a few mistakes, too many, and in both directions. That's just fact.
Too many mistakes, too few victories, tumbling down the table. They're still 8 points clear of the relegation spots, but of course, West Ham enjoying a bit of a revival at the moment. I'm pleased to say joining us now, old mate of mine actually, he knows Palace better than most. It's a very good morning to former Palace winger, John Solarco. Morning, John.
Morning, John.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby.
Morning, mate.
Blimey, I don't know how many years it is since I've spoken to you, John. You haven't changed a jot. Are you still using that hair dye?
Yes, when I put the gel in, Jeff, it just covers those greys.
Good lad. Look, how concerned are you about what's happening at Palace at the moment? 11 without a win. Adam Wharton sent off at the weekend. It looks like it's all falling apart a bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. Jeff, what an implosion. I mean, as Palace fans, we're just absolutely devastated. We're all still in shock. I think for Oliver Glasner, I mean, we went into the January window with great optimism, thought we might hold on to Gay, and we were desperately hoping that Oliver would stay for at least another year. He's just been magnificent, Jeff, since he came in sort of February, March 24. We've just won the two competitions, obviously the FA Cup and to see it implode. And it probably all started just at the end of that window where Glasner wanted to add, and they nearly sold Gay, and he said, look, if Gay goes, I go. And they held on to Gay. It didn't go to Liverpool. It was done. And it seems to have really started there. And obviously, look, to sit in the middle of the January transfer window and come out with, the board have abandoned me and I'm leaving. And that was a deal done in October, which everyone. And yeah, it's a real mess, Jeff. And I think yesterday, as he said, the team hasn't given up. We started really brightly, went into Mateta, Munoz down the right. We had Sarr back and Munoz, and they were dangerous. And then Sarr wins that ball. Mateta has to score, Jeff, after 8 minutes. And I think that gives us a chance. The handball against poor old Camvo gives away a dreadful mistake against the run of play. And then the penalty for the second, was never a penalty. He comes off his hip, Jeff. Darren England looks at that and a real worry. But again, some of the defending, we're going to miss Gay. He was the leader. He was a captain. And I'm not sure I'm in the camp of take the 20 million. I think we keep Gay at the end of the season. We make sure we stay up, try and win the Europa Conference. And so I get what Glasner's doing, but there was a bit of self-preservation there with Glasner.
John, Mateta, I mean, last season was fantastic. This season, 8 Premier League goals. But if you look at some of the reels of the chances he's missed, one again yesterday where he just got to put it in the corner. It's a goal. He's asking for double the money in his new contract, and he's flirting with a chance to leave at any opportunity. They have to sort Mateta out, don't they? Either new contract or maybe get a big fee for him.
Yeah, Gabby, since October, I think he scored a hat-trick against Bournemouth and could have had 4. And when he's at it, when he's aggressive and he holds that line and he runs behind and he gets his head down, he's a real handful. But you're absolutely right. The chances that he's missed are quite incredible, and they're good chances as well. He's got 2 in 15, Gabby. Sarr 15, Pino 3 in 15. They played a lot of football, and talk about carrying. If he's injured, then give him a rest and get that injury right. But you're absolutely right. If you don't have a striker you can go into and play off him, and the way we play with the back 5 and with the wing backs bombing on, I mean, I know we've really missed Munoz and Sarr, but the way we play, those 3 up front are really important, and Mateta's key. So his head's been turned, and we need him back firing. And now Glasner was saying to him, look, if you want to get a move, you want to double your money, you've got to be scoring goals. So go and score goals, and the money will come.
Which brings me back round to Glasgow and his position then, John. And nobody disputes the fact he's done a brilliant job while he's been there. But now, when things are going badly, how does he motivate them? How does he make them listen, knowing that he's not going to be there next season?
Yeah, Jeff, that's the strange one, to come out with that, to say, look, this was agreed in October, in the middle of the January transfer window, to say, I'm leaving. See what Klopp did. He did that in the middle of October, but he didn't tell them till right at the end of the season, kept the fans guessing, kept the players motivated. And I don't know, Jeff, is the answer, to be honest. If I'm Walter, I'm Lacroix, certainly if I'm Brennan Johnson, who just came in, I'm thinking, I hope Thomas Frank doesn't come in. He just sold me from Tottenham. So I mean, it's who you bring in. So I think to a certain extent, he's kind of said to Steve Parish, well, sack me, and, my stock's high, and I seem to be getting embroiled in this, maybe possible relegation battle now.
Do you think they will, John? Do you think they're considering that?
Do you know what? I think Steve Parish has sort of said, well, look, I'm not going to pay you off and then pay someone else. You're a good manager. I'll take us to the end of the season, take your medicine. And and get us through. So it's a really awkward situation, which I really don't know how this is going.
Can you see his frustration? I know a lot of people will say, listen, you knew what you were getting into when you joined Crystal Palace. You know how they operate. But I look at the Crystal Palace fans and I say, don't you want to dream? You know, you win the FA Cup, fantastic season, win the Community Shield, you win the Conference League. You want to go again, you know? But it seems like the hierarchy at Crystal Palace are happy to, no, there's a pecking order, good players, go for big money, and you got to recruit again. You can see the frustration from a manager, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I don't really understand how the communication's broken down so badly and so quickly, because obviously, you know, Glasner's got to understand where we live. I know we've sold Elise Anderson, we've sold Gay. We knew Eze was going to go. They're world-class players playing at the very top of the Bundesliga and the Premier League, and it's such a shame. But you know, Dougie Friedman left, and now Matt Hobbs has come in with Ben Stevens. You know, they've got to work some magic, because I tell you what, Gabby, we need 2 or 3 in through the door before the window closes desperately. And that is going to be the key, because the squad is short. You know, the boys are looking tired. Be careful what you wish for. All the Palace fans are loving being in Europe, but you know, that is Glasner's biggest, his biggest bugbear was that the fact that we didn't invest in the squad, we didn't make it big enough, and we didn't bring enough quality through the door to really sustain us and help us in Europe. So, yeah, I mean, he's ambitious. He's done this before, isn't he? He did this at Frankfurt. He asked them to spend money, wants to be ambitious, and he's got a plan. But at the moment, he's got to dig in and make sure that we start getting results. But Forest away, Brighton away, and then we play the Bosnian champions, Zrinjski Mostar. And then we have 2 key games, Gabby.
Yes. Forest and Burnley and Wolves.
Burnley at home and Wolves at home. Wow. And so by the end of February, we're going to know where we are. So I assume nothing's going to happen until then, but really that means we're in the playoff, you know, we're in the knockout stages of the conference, and, you know, we could be safe and looking at a good end to the season, or we could be in that relegation battle.
You still feeling confident, John, that you won't be in the relegation battle?
Absolutely. I think we've got enough there, but the players have got to take responsibility. If you want away and you want to be in the shop window, Mateta has got 18 months left on his contract. He's come out and said, I think he said he'd like a move, which is disappointing, but they just got to get their heads down. I mean, get this window shut, as they say, get 2 or 3 through the door, and then get your head down and do what you know we can do, and that's get results. Because even against Chelsea, we had chances and there wasn't much in it. So as Oliver Glasner said, I don't think he's lost the dressing room just yet. And, you know, it's going to be down to the boys, really.
John, lovely to talk to you again, mate.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, John. Difficult times at Palace. Just a couple of quick texts. Jake has said, morning, Jeff and Gabby. Bit of history for you. Herbert was introduced to England by the Normans, often signified military strength and nobility. And Jill's been on to us and said, Jeff, you might be Herberts, but you are our professional Herberts. Oh, thank you, Jill. That's very touching.
Compliment.
Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
Listen up, Arsenal fans. 03717 223344 is the number to ring to get in touch. Does Arteta have to deliver the league this season? Steve thinks so.
We could have Harry Kane or Erling Haaland. If you can't get your striker into the game, how do you expect him to score, Alan?
Mike has texted, loving the Arsenal fans this morning. 4 points clear at the top of the table, and they're calling for Arteta out after losing to United. Herbert's the lot of them. So we also want to hear from Manchester United fans. You've got to be absolutely buzzing at the moment. 6 points from games against Manchester City and Arsenal. How far can Michael Carrick take United this season? Give us a call, 03717 223344, the number to ring. That was our look ahead, all thanks to Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Good morning, 7:49. It is a Monday morning, January the 26th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Steve from Essex has sent a really thoughtful text. I think he says, "Hi guys, genuine Arsenal fan here. I know all others will be the same. We're not arrogant. We're not expecting to win every game. We still want Arteta. We were beaten by a very good Man United display. It's January. We're in a good position. We move on to the next game. Get a grip, people."
I think that's fair.
Dose of reality, Steve. Well done.
Yes.
Now, Manchester United winger Amad Diallo, though, he's been having a bit of fun at Arsenal's expense on social media, suggesting that Arsenal's only hope of scoring a goal is from corners. Marty Cifuente's been sacked as the Leicester City boss after just 6 months in charge. Leicester about 14th at the moment. Andy King is their interim manager. Right, into week 2, isn't it? The Australian Open. Let's get the latest with talkSPORT's Toby Gillies. Morning, Toby.
Good morning. Yeah, currently watching the men's defending champion Yannick Sinner rocket through his 4th round clash with compatriot Luciano Darderi. The ball a yellow flash off Sinner's racket, more a blob off his opponent's. 6-1 the first set. Darderi is the 22nd seed, yet he's miles off Sinner on this evidence. 1-love to Darderi on serve in the second set. Earlier, another Italian showed what appeared to be championship quality, a glittering, comprehensive destruction by 5th seed Lorenzo Musetti of Taylor Fritz. Straight sets, and he'll give Novak Djokovic a proper test in the quarters for sure. In the women's, the defending champ is out. Madison Keys beaten by fellow American Jessica Pegula, who'll play another Yank, Amanda Anisimova, in the last 8. Stick with talkSPORT all morning for the latest from the Australian Open.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Just a brief word on the Villa. Greeno has texted and he says, great result. What do you think of Watkins? Sometimes he's so wasteful and then he pops up with a goal. You think his inconsistency will harm him going to the World Cup? Greeno, I mean, I get that point, but I tell you what, that goal was terrific.
Fantastic goal.
His run was brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic goal, but I agree. There were so many chances on the counter-attack yesterday afternoon where that final ball from Watkins was poor, where he could have played Sancho or Rodgers, but fantastic header.
Yeah, it was
movement,
fantastic.
Back post, boom.
We'll talk more about Villa during the course of the morning.
Thank you.
Right, England finally got that elusive one-day international win in Colombo. They beat Sri Lanka by 5 wickets in the second ODI. Sri Lanka bowled out for 219. England chasing it down comfortably, thanks in the main to a classy 75 from Joe Root. Joining us to look back on all of the action is former 2 times Ashes winner Steve Harmison. Morning, Harmy.
Morning, Harmy.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning. I thought I'd hear from you this morning, Gab.
What happened, mate?
Look, best team won. Newcastle are run on empty. Best team won. Yeah, I think enough said about that. Enough said about that, the better. Villa are looking very, very good. Newcastle are looking very, very tired, and that's a bit of a concern with.
You need number 10, don't you, Harmy?
Games have got to come.
Harmy, you're struggling for a number 10, aren't you? Creative player.
No, I think Eddie plays a certain way, which number 10 doesn't really fit into the game. I think what Newcastle have got is a very, very good, strong 1 to 11 with one or two good substitute options coming off the bench. I think beyond that, I think there's less of a trust of coming on that can change the game. That could come. Recruitment for Newcastle, I think, in the summer. I think we signed some players that we thought would probably be better than what they have been. I think there was a lot of money spent. So I think that's something I think Newcastle fans have been frustrated at, and I think they can be right to do so. But we're starting to pick injuries up, and if you lose the likes of Bruno and Joe Linton and Tonali, who keeps going off, then that's a solid chunk of Newcastle's powerhouse in midfield and what makes them tick.
Yeah. It was a really disappointing day for them. There's no doubt about that. Not disappointing for England in the ODI, the latest ODI in Colombo. I mean, 11 straight ODI defeats. It had to end sometimes, and not for the first time, Harmy, and no doubt not for the last. Joe Root, the difference.
Jeff, he was brilliant. He was brilliant in the first game as well, along with Ben Duckett. And I think the disappointing thing, knowing Joe as we all do, I think he'd have been. You could see the frustration in the first game when he got out, that on that surface, somebody had to go on and win the game because it was going to be difficult to get in on. And that drove him forward in the second game to make sure that he turned that 60. Yes, it might be only 15 runs more, but we're chasing 50 runs less. And it was from first ball that he hit to the boundary for 4. It was a masterclass in tempo batting, especially in this part of the world. It was a poor pitch. England have been labelled a lot of things over the course of this last 6 months in negative terms, and one of the things that have been talked about is the flat track bullies. This wasn't a flat track. This had to be. You had to work very, very hard. The value of your wicket, and you had to take responsibility. I thought Joe Root and Harry Brook, when Harry Brook came in, especially, were absolutely fantastic. So they go into a series decider, and one that I think England can win, because let's be fair, the pitch is not going to be very good. It's going to be a similar surface to what we played on, if it's not the same surface, because there's only 2 strips prepared. So it's either on the pitch they played on Saturday, which was really poor, or the one they played on Thursday, which was a little bit better, but still wasn't great for 50-over cricket.
No.
Harmy, Joe Root has come out and backed Brendan McCullum, saying he's one of the best coaches he's worked under. Do you think the rest of the squad agree with him?
Yeah, I think, Gabby, what Joe was saying is that Joe Root's played some very, very good cricket individually under Brendan McCullum. Yeah. There's been a lot of negativity talked about Brendan McCullum. I have been one that has called that he probably, if anybody should be removed from position from what's happened over the course of the last sort of few months, then he's the one that carries the can, because he's the coach. He's the one that sets the message. He's the one that drives the environment and ultimately sets the plans. And they've not been good enough. Unfortunately, yes, Joe Root has played some unbelievable cricket under Brendan McCullum, but there are quite a lot in that dressing room who have been backed, who have been, I think their positions probably would have been removed if they were in a different environment. And then players are possibly in the position to get Brendan McCullum the sack. And I think that's in a nutshell that England players, some of the England players averaging between 30 and 35, they're the problem, not Joe Root. So Joe Root, yes, he's backing a coach, and rightly so, because Brendan McCullum's been good for Joe Root. I just don't think, unfortunately, there's 1 or 2 he hasn't been good for, because he's constantly backed them, constantly picked them, and them ultimately haven't been good enough. And when they have had bad games, they haven't been removed out the side, and England have lost cricket matches.
Harmy, just a couple of quick thoughts on the T20 World Cup, just around the corner now. Scotland going to be taking part, late replacements for Bangladesh. And as far as England are concerned, whatever happens in Sri Lanka, are we contenders? We can't be, can we?
Yeah, I mean, I'll cover the Scotland one first. It's great that Scotland are in it. It's disappointing that the world and politics is getting involved, that Bangladesh is having to be removed. We're on the cusp of some dangerous waters in international cricket with Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and 1 or 2 other things that are going on. That needs to be addressed. And as for England, Jeff, England in T20 format, they've got a formula, especially if Jofra's playing. If Jofra's back, England have got showed out here, Rashid and Dawson. They've got bowlers in in decent form. Jack's pulled up very, very well after that. He was ill in the first game, played well in the second game. England, I think, with Salt at the top, Butler going back up towards the top of the order, I think England have got a good form going in T20 cricket, which puts them as contenders. Can they win it? I think if they get to the semi-final, I'll be pleased. That from there, it just takes one big performance from one of them big players to get them to the final. When you get there, who knows? So I think England have got an outside chance, but they are better at 20-over cricket than they are at 50-over cricket.
Harmy, thank you so much, mate.
Thank you, Harmy. Mind the gap,
Good morning, gents.
I remind you can hear live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of that third ODI on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel from 8:30 tomorrow morning. And if you like your cricket, listen up now. Our next competition has arrived. We're giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town. Every day of the match between England and South Africa. Flights, hotels, spending money, all covered. This is how to enter. For your chance to win, text the word WIN, WIN, to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines close at on the 6th of February. I haven't read this before, as you can tell. The 6th of February 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you need to answer the phone if it rings. 18 plus UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 and do it now. Ben has texted. He says, "Hey up, Jeff. Ben and Dom from Hull driving down to work away for the week, listening all the way. Where's the mention of Hull and their transfer embargo, by the way? All this talk about the fairy tale of Wrexham and no talk about the relegation fodder that was meant to be Hull City." Well, Ben, I have to tell you, we haven't mentioned Wrexham. It's a word that hasn't crossed my mouth this morning. But I do take the point. Hull, I think it's a two transfer window embargo they're under as well. And they have done magnificently. Magnificently.
One of the last three.
Yeah, right up there, breathing down the necks of Coventry and Middlesbrough. So well done to them. Safe journey down there, Ben and Dom. Now, coming up, we'll break down what's going wrong for Arsenal and what's right for Manchester United. If you want to have your say, 03717 22 3344 is the number to call.
What's your club or country's sliding doors moment? Its meaning originating from the 1998 rom-com of the same name, a sliding doors moment in football terms is simply a question of what might have been. An incident in a game where, had it gone the other way, would have altered history. For example, say John Terry had scored that penalty in Moscow in 2008. Chelsea would have been European champions and Avram Grant would have the biggest medal in continental club football to his name. It stands to reason then that he would have stayed at Stamford Bridge for a bit longer, meaning that Luis Felipe Scolari wouldn't have got a look in. Would he have done better than the World Cup winning Brazilian, who only lasted till February the following year? And could he have improved upon Chelsea's third place finish? And as for United, who won the title that season, would defeat in that Moscow final have led to Cristiano Ronaldo leaving the club for Real Madrid a year earlier? And would that have meant that Rafa Benitez's Liverpool won the Premier League instead of them? That's a pretty big butterfly effect, all from one missed penalty kick going the other way. And if you want to dig a bit deeper, there's plenty more that could have been affected. What if Anthony Knockaert had scored his penalty against Watford? We'd have been denied the Troy Deeney moment, sure, but might Leicester have gone on to win promotion to the Premier League earlier than scheduled? And would that have meant that Claudio Ranieri would never make it to the King Power? Would Arsenal or Tottenham, therefore, have been champions in 2016? The most significant sliding doors moment perhaps ever, though, was Paul Gascoigne, Wembley, June 1996. What if this had gone in? That golden goal would have sent England to the Euro 96 final against Czech Republic. 30 years of hurt could well have come to an end. There's so many of these moments that could have altered destiny forever. What if Shearer had signed for United? Would Lampard's ghost goal against Germany have kick-started England's World Cup back in 2010? What if Sam Allardyce didn't get bogged down in all that controversy and denied Gareth Southgate the England job? Does make you think.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor and Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. 6 minutes past 8, Monday, January the 26th. On the way this morning, Sheffield United defender Ben Mee will join the show. We'll chat about his former boss, Thomas Frank, and his former club, Brentford. We'll dive into the transfer market. Our chief correspondent, Alex Crook, will let us know the movers and shakers in the window. And Gabby's been champing at the bit to talk Villa after that 2-0 win away at St James's Park. Alex has messaged me on X saying Villa are going to win the Premier League and the Europa League this season. Arsenal will start dropping points from now. City will finish second and Arsenal third.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, not if you're an Arsenal fan, no. And probably not if you're a City fan
They used
either.
to, though, Arsenal fans.
Ooh,
Every season, aren't they?
Very hard.
The bridesmaids, but never the brides.
Well, maybe this is their year that they will be the bride. We shall see. Mick the Guildford Gooner says, I question the mentality of the Arsenal side. Some of them look like they need a good kick up the proverbial. Ooh. Thanks very much indeed, Mick. Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. Of course, it's all about what happened at the Emirates yesterday. The league leaders Arsenal stunned by Manchester United.
just turn into the game like this and then things come up. I think it's obviously a combination of every frustration that we had all this season.
And it has been coming. It's Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0. Not brilliant defending at all.
A game that had a lot of moments, especially in the first 30 minutes.
What a gift this is for Brian and Mbumo. Patrick Dorgu has just scored a stunner. Oh my word, what a goal!
It's a goal kick, one long ball, one pass, and another incredible magic moment from Cunha.
It's another sensational goal from Mateus Cunha from 25 yards out.
Let's enjoy the Manchester United moment.
It was a
It's Cunha, it's a great moment.
That's why we're in it, that's why we love it, sometimes you got to dig deep and then the moments and the quality, and that's what the boys can do. Today was a special feeling, I have to say.
For the Red Devils, their first Premier League win at the Emirates since Jose Mourinho was in charge. It's Arsenal's first home Premier League defeat of the season.
More than ever, they need to feel that we are very close to them and that we believe in them and what we are doing more than ever.
Arsenal 2, Manchester United 3.
Yeah, that's how it sounded yesterday. Arsenal fans, Manchester United fans, get on the phone, give us a call, have your say on yesterday's game. Will Arteta get the job done? Is Michael Carrick the man for the Manchester United job long term? We've had this voice note already in from Freddie, who is a Manchester United fan. Morning, Freddie.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the comparisons made between Odegaard and Fernandes, considering he got taken off at a pretty important time for Arsenal. And yet Arsenal fans seem to think that he's a more creative midfielder. He does a lot more for the team in front of goal. Second, Arsenal fans in general, when they compare their current team to the 2008 United team, and they've just gone and lost to one of United's, weakest teams that we've had, a brand new manager. Yes, we're playing very well at the moment, but I think our 2008 team would absolutely batter our current teams.
It's interesting because I had a text a bit earlier on saying Arsenal should sign Bruno Fernandes. Well, we talk about their lack of creativity. He would certainly give them that.
Yes, I think when you compare players, I would prefer Bruno Fernandes than Odegaard. I think he's a better player. And the stats prove that, Jeff. 17 Premier League games this season for Odegaard, 1 goal, 3 assists. Bruno Fernandes, 20 Premier League games, 5 goals and 10 assists.
Yeah, in a far poorer side.
Exactly. Better striker of the ball, better passer of the ball as well. So for me, for that first voice note, Odegaard has got a lot to do to be on the level of Fernandes.
Yeah. George has texted, he said, Arsenal can't score goals. No idea how we got this far, scoring just from set pieces. We need to start shooting from further out. Take a look at Fernandes for West Ham and Ayari for Brighton this weekend.
Or Aston Villa, just the 13 Premier League goals from outside the box.
Well, Emi Buendia's wonderful strike at St James's Park as well.
Jeff, do you know what I've been hearing as well a lot is the comparison. I think Theo Walcott asked Wayne Rooney about the comparison between his 2008 Manchester United side to this Arsenal side. And I just think we have to be careful to forget how good players were and teams were. There's no comparison. The Manchester United side, by far better. I've even done an 11 comparing both. Van der Sar starting goal, Timber right back. Then you've got Ferdinand and Gabriel Evra. Then Declan Rice gets in. Then you've got Carrick and Scholes. And the front three, nowhere near. Ronaldo, Tevez and Rooney. Nowhere near Arsenal's front three of ever getting into that side. So Arsenal only get 3 players into that combined 11. Let's not forget how good teams were and how good players were.
Yeah. Might be not going to have Bruno Fernandes in there, but still. Let's head to the phone lines now. And let's speak to another Gabby, who's an Arsenal fan. Morning, Gabby.
Morning, Gabby.
Morning, Sir Jeff, the king of broadcasting. My first call to you, my friend.
Oh, well, very nice to hear from you, Gabby.
And I've got my little brother, Gabby. He's 3 years younger than me, and we need to. I need to smack Tanny's behind this morning.
Why?
Because he's turning up. And he's giving all us shit, and we know where he went on the 30th of December. He was AWOL for 6 days.
Can I not have a holiday, Gabby?
You know, you didn't have a holiday. You had a hiatus from Twitter, my friend. That's what it was.
What happened yesterday, mate? What's going on? You know, you fans are in the stadium, and you're making the players nervous. Just relax.
Gab, do you know what? And Jeff, you'll appreciate it, going to a range of football, Hartlepool and all over. Maybe not Gab so much, but I sat there. I've been to all 3 games. I home-ended it at Forest. I'd done the Liverpool game. I'd done the game yesterday, and it's very lethargic. But what we're forgetting, guys, is that I was also at Chelsea away, where we stuck 3 past them, and we also went to Milan and stuck 3 past them. And I just think I'm a little bit worried that maybe the big game momentum might not be there, and that's my concern. Yesterday, we were 4 or 5 players really off peak yesterday, gents, and we gave Man United far too many opportunities. And that first goal, the slip, the bad pass, that gave them the potency to go and take that game by the ball. And Michael Carrick, let's congratulate Man United. Michael Carrick, he knows Man United. He's a northern man for a northern job. He's an English manager, and I think the reason he never worked at Middlesbrough, but he's going to work at Man United, is because he's got the players of his own calibre at his disposal, and he knows how to work with them players rather than championship players. I don't know what your two view on it is, but they look dangerous, and I think they'll go on. And you've got to remember, guys, we've played 12 more games than them.
Oh. But look, hey, you're absolutely right. The opening goal, that changed the entire momentum within the game. Gabby, thanks very much indeed. Let's quickly take a call from Liam, who's also an Arsenal fan. Morning, Liam.
Good morning, Liam.
Morning, lads.
So what did you make of yesterday?
Rubbish. Crap football, side to side, nonsense. And when you say side to side, there was absolutely nothing in the middle. I go back to Gabby's comment saying always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Well, what does that make Villa? The unwanted uncle at the wedding.
I can't argue. Fair, mate. Yes, we are.
You still think you'll win it, Liam?
I think we'll still win it. I don't think there's any cause for Arteta. That's just nonsense. No. But yesterday was abysmal. And Saka, I don't think Saka's been at it for the best part of a year. Throwing his hands up every time he doesn't receive a pass and trying to cross the ball, and it was just nonsense from the full Arsenal team, to be fair.
Fair enough. Thanks, Liam. Thank you very much indeed for that. Arsenal fans, none too happy.
Unwanted uncle, Jeff. Does that happen?
Well, he was absolutely right about Saka. Saka, I think, since he's come back from injury, just hasn't quite hit the heights as yet. Ben's texting and says, morning, boys. It's my little boy's birthday today. We listen to talkSPORT every morning on the way to school. He's 8 today. He's called Freddie and plays football for Clay Lane Academy.
Hello, Freddie.
Freddie, have a great 8th birthday. I'm surprised your dad's not letting you have the Delft school, to be absolutely honest. You're not allowed to do that these days.
No.
So, Freddie and Dad Ben, very good morning. You have a great day, guys. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the Cheltenham trials and just how unlucky Nicky Henderson is.
Telling me a lie without a reason why.
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. A bit of jigsaw with Sky High there. Gabby spotted something over the weekend. Well, a lot of people did. The American climber Alex Honnold scaling the iconic Taipei 101 skyscraper without ropes or safety gear.
I felt sick watching, Jeff. I mean, like, I'm scared to go in lifts that are see-through, and you can see through the glass. Never mind climb that. Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
No.
Crazy.
No, I mean, look, you know.
Wind as well.
I can't imagine. Yeah, it's an adrenaline rush and all. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. You wouldn't have because we just said that Ben and his boy Freddie, they're on the way to school this morning, but are your kids on the way to school?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've got a son who's doing his A-levels in a few months and a daughter who's in year 10. And their school, part of a union, have decided that for the last 2 weeks, they're going to strike, so the kids are at home. And for another further 3 weeks now, they're going to strike, so the kids are at home. But what about kids that want to achieve something? These kids have been affected by COVID as well, especially the year 13s doing their A-levels. And my son's messaging me saying, Dad, you know, I'm trying here, but like I need to be taught certain things in psychology, law and business. His predicted grades are A stars. So I've got him a tutor now, started yesterday. But how can this happen, Jeff? We see so much strikes now. These kids, it's their future. Really wound me up of like, you get some kids who don't care about their education and they're happy that the strikes and they're probably at home. But there's kids out there that want to achieve something with their life. And they're being punished by these teachers that are at home and taking videos when they're in the local town centre when they're striking. Shocking, mate.
Yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? It's ironic, isn't it? Take your kids out to school.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Big fine.
That's what I said to them. I said, you better not even send a letter if I want to take these kids out of school for a holiday. Audacity.
United fans thinking Carrick is an elite manager now, says Andy. West Ham and Spurs didn't consider him when they wanted a manager. So, yeah.
Still early doors, Jeff, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's very early doors. Anonymous text, Gabby sticking Timber at right back instead of Gary Neville made me laugh out loud. He says, petty to the end, and I love it. And Darren in Plymouth says, Saka shouldn't be on the plane to the World Cup, simply not good enough. Well, you know what? I think he's proved, Darren. I think he's proved year in, year out that he is good enough.
Of course. But he's got to do better, Jeff, to be guaranteed a starting spot. Simple as that. Does Madueke get a run of form now? Even though he's obviously not scored a Premier League goal for Arsenal yet, but there's a lot of players. Gordon's not done enough.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of players that need to start performing. Cole Palmer, he got 15 Premier League games to prove himself. He can get himself fit. So it's going to be a lot of players that miss out, I feel.
Yeah, you feel that Thomas Tuchel is not going to be swayed by public opinion.
Oh, no
He's very much his own man, isn't it?
Yes.
Morning, boys. Gabby. Declan Rice is the most overrated footballer about. Would rather have Granit Xhaka. Interesting opinion. Many people think that Declan Rice is overrated. Look, I may be wrong. But
that team I've done, Jeff, was just this Arsenal side now and Manchester United side from 2008. So not Manchester United side now. So that's why Rice gets in and Carrick and goals.
Yeah.
Let's not disrespect Declan Rice. He's been top this season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's an outstanding professional.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, 8:22. Let's get the latest odds with Coral and Sam and Claire.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Simon, morning to you.
Another nervous
Good morning,
fan.
Jeff. Good morning, Gabby. Yeah, I'm going to try not to wind you up, Gabby. You're in ranting form this morning, honestly. God.
I love Mondays. Especially when Arsenal lose, Simon. Even better.
I know. Listen, God, it was a dismal performance like yesterday. I was travelling back from York on the train, watching it on my phone, and kept thinking, should I just turn it off and hope it turns out okay? But I subjected myself to it, and look, I think so. It's interesting listening to you discuss it in the callers. One thing I do think is actually the real lack of shots from outside the box. It poses no threat from Arsenal, which means the defence just sit across the defence, can't they, to the back, the edge of the area, and then United come up with 2 wonder goals and a terrible mistake. But look, Arsenal are still favourites for the Premier League. They're 2-5. It's 11-4 Man City. We must not disrespect Villa, must we, Gabby? 16-1 for the title. And I must admit, I'm an Arsenal fan. I do believe in emotional hedges, Jeff. You know the term, don't you? Where you back the thing you don't want to happen, so at least it makes you feel better.
Yes,
if Arsenal are to throw away this league, I've had a few quid on Man City, I'm going to be honest with you. So to cushion the blow, because I'll be so gutted if Arsenal lose, somehow don't press on and take advantage of the position they're in. But it's going to be tight. It's going to be nervy, guys. Hand on heart, what do you think is going to happen?
I think Arsenal do win it, but they're going to make hard work of it because Manchester City will come strong. Diaz will be back. Vardio might be back. John Stones might be back. Rodri will be up to speed. So it could go all the way.
Jeff?
Yeah, no, look, I think Arsenal as well. But I tell you what, I'm tempted. Well, not so much by 16-1 Villa now, because they were 28-1 a couple of weeks ago, I seem to recall. And, I just think Unai Emery is a master of his craft. And I just don't think you can write them off.
Yeah, big price. There's a massive fixture. That 18th of April fixture, City at the Etihad against Arsenal, could be so critical. There's only 4 points in it now. It is 4 points even then.
Yeah.
And City beat Arsenal, might take it down to 1 point.
Last game of the season, Man City at home to Villa.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, that could be a decider if Villa are still in the hunt. So
you never know.
Times.
What about the other end of the table, Simon? Because it's getting a bit interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
West Ham are starting to win games. Forest have won again at the weekend.
Yeah, listen, West Ham are getting on a bit of a run. They're 4-9 now to go down, which is a bit of a bigger price than they were. They were shorter in the betting, and their big problem is just that the teams there going to have to try and overtake, because Leeds are 5-1 to go down, Forest 11-2, Palace 6-1.
Spurs?
Spurs are 12-1. They're next in the betting, actually.
Spurs better be careful, Simon.
Yeah, and look, tonight we've got a game there, Everton v Leeds. Leeds are actually in such good form that they're not. It's just favourites Everton at home at the Hill Dickinson 7-5 and Leeds 2-1, which reflects the form Leeds are in. And I think that's probably West Ham's problem. It's not that they can't get on a run. It's can they now, close the gap on the teams above them who are also pulling out the results. It's going to be an interesting battle. We presume Burnley and Wolves are down, but you never know. Burnley particularly showing still a little bit of fight.
It was Cheltenham Trials weekend. Cheltenham, obviously, at the weekend, Simon. But look, I tell you what, my heart goes out to Nicky Henderson. I can't. He's a lovely guy, a brilliant trainer, and he just is dogged by such bad luck. And the latest, of course, is Sergino.
Yeah, look, it was grim at the time when he pulled up and, the new line went on and won the trial. I thought ITV covered it very well. It was, because we just didn't know how bad the injury was. The news looks far more promising now, which is the most important thing, that actually Sergino is back in being cared for and hopefully will be fine. And that's the most important thing for the horse. But it does another blow for Nick Henderson. You're right. I'm a big fan of him. He's been around for 40 years producing results. Was winning champion hurdles in the 80s. And he's very honest with the media, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, Nicky. And yet these things happen to him, which to test the patience of men. And he pulls things out of the bag with Sprinter Sacre coming back from a terrible injury to win the champ chase. And maybe with Sergino out, is it still, people are still debating whether Constitution Hill could come back over hurdles, could come back in the champion hurdle. He's going to run at Southall at the end of February on the flats just to get his confidence back. And I think where most trainers might not be tempted by trying to overcome that challenge? I think Nicky will. And so I think, there's a good chance we could see Constitution Hill in a very open champion hurdle now, where Lossiemouth is favourite, the New Line second favourite, and Constitution Hill just 5-1 for what would be an extraordinary comeback, and the sort of comeback that Nicky Henderson's made himself favourite for. So I'll be rooting for that.
Simon, I'm just wondering if you've got odds on the next manager to be sacked in the Premier League. Will that be Slot or maybe Glasner?
It's a very good question. I think we do have betting. I must admit, we tend. I always feel bad now about talking about this market. We get so much abuse for being tough on managers when we talk about these odds.
You buy yourself some time there, Simon?
No, because I think they all listen to the show. I don't want to offend them. But you're right. It would be Thomas Frank, Slot. Those probably be the two favourites in the market, which we don't celebrate, but we know is a reality of football.
Yes.
Simon, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Simon.
Thanks, guys.
That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+, gambleaware.org. Quick text, the last caller you had needs to watch another club. How can he say Saka has been off it for the past year? He was virtually unplayable against Milan last week, a joy to watch, and he excites. Although I do believe, as you alluded to, he does struggle against seasoned international fullbacks. And another text here says, this is from Scott, says, never mind Saka. Ollie Watkins is nowhere near good enough for the World Cup. He was awful yesterday. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, head and shoulders above him. Sorry, I don't agree, Scott.
No,
I don't agree.
No.
Ollie Watkins puts in a right shift.
Yes.
I mean, he scored the goal with a brilliant run and header. I think he'd won the corner that all initially came from with a brilliant strike from outside the box as well. He's a workhorse too.
He misses chances, but like
he does miss chances.
Like the one he missed and he hit straight at the keeper, Pope. But what he offers, Jeff, the work rate.
Yeah.
Defenders must hate playing against him. Runs in behind like yesterday. Top player.
Yeah. In fairness to Scott, he does say he's a Leeds fan from Doncaster.
Oh,
so I understand you're standing up for your team, and Calvert-Lewin's had a brilliant time. And, of course, plays against his old club, Everton, tonight. I think he scored 8 in his last 10. So he would love to add a goal this evening, wouldn't he, at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Coming up, he's been bothering us all morning, but we're going to do it. Up next, we'll deep dive into Villa, Onana, Rodgers, Martinez, Watkins. Gabby will tell us what they can achieve, whether they can keep hold of their best players next season.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Morning, 8:35, Monday, January the 26th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It's the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby's with me through until 10 o'clock, and we know you're dying to get into this one, Gabby. A huge day for Villa yesterday as they won at St James's Park. Surprised everyone, including Gabby, by the way, and kept their title hopes very much alive.
Solly Watkins has got it. Newcastle 0, Villa 2. Villa's long wait for a win at St James's Park surely over now.
I think that was a bit of a statement win, I have to say. Certainly in that first 45 minutes. Excellent game of football.
Just 4 points behind leaders Arsenal. That might be temporary, Mickey Gray, but Aston Villa, you have to say it, playing like this, they're in the title race, aren't they?
Last week, you didn't ask me about we were title contender. Our dreams was when I arrived here to play in Europe and to play consistently in Europe. We are doing it, of course. This is the next challenge we have.
Aston Villa. Let's get in there.
Well, it was an absolutely fantastic win, but more importantly, in some respects, it was a fantastic performance. I know in your heart of hearts you probably think that Arsenal are still going to win the league, Gabby.
Yes.
You've been scribbling away. Why do you think that Villa winning the Premier League would be so good to see?
Okay, Jeff. Why Aston Villa winning the league would be a win for football? It would prevent every other football fan having to vacate the country to avoid Arsenal fans. It will be a new winner for the Premier League. It's a nail in the coffin in that nonsense group they call the Big Six. It's an underdog story with Emery, bringing us from relegation battle and spending the least amount of money this summer. Good to prove to Pep Guardiola you can't checkbook your way to the title again. It's a win for England, with Rodgers, Konsa, Watkins taking the winning mentality to the World Cup. And of course it means finally getting a bus parade in the best city in England, Birmingham, Jeff.
Brilliant, mate. Look, it was a great performance at the ground where they don't usually do that well. I was interested, Arnie Slot of the weekend after the defeat of Bournemouth said Liverpool simply ran out of energy. Well, even though they're missing Kamara and they're missing John McGinn, there was no sign of Villa lacking energy.
I want to see where Morgan Rodgers gets it from. He doesn't stop. He plays every game. Midweek, where you think maybe a few changes. He's starting against Fenerbahce. Outstanding yesterday. Konsa, Cash. You don't see Unai Emery complaining about players being tired. I look at the bench as well. Jeff is looking a lot more healthy now on the weekend. Bizot, Digne, Lindelof, Mings, Elliott out of nowhere was on the bench. Bogard, Leon Bailey, Guessand, and the young lad Hemmings, who's got a bright future. No Kamara, McGinn. I think McGinn's 6 weeks out, maybe. Yeah. I'm hearing Tammy Abraham will be done today as well. He's looking a lot better now with numbers. Onana was big yesterday in the game. I mean, he's had his problems this season.
Oh, look,
he's quite injury prone, Jeff. He's had his problems, but with Kamara out, he's a must in that midfield.
Makes a massive difference to you. And we talk about creativity. Emi Buendia was sort of surplus to requirements a couple of seasons ago, but how he has rebuilt his Villa career.
It's incredible, isn't it? Because you thought Elliott was brought in to be that number 10. And out of nowhere, Buendia says, wait there a second, Harvey, I'm the main man. Didn't work at Leverkusen for him, got sent back. 5 Premier League goals for Buendia and some important goals, Jeff. Screamer yesterday, big goal against Arsenal to beat them 2-1 in the last minute. And all what Villa are doing, what the manager's doing, second in the Europa League table, same points as Manchester City, third on only goal difference. But I'm just looking at what teams have spent in the summer, Jeff. Aston Villa spent the least out of any Premier League side. 34.5 million they spent. Burnley spent 87. Sunderland spent 150. Liverpool 442. Manchester City 173. Nottingham Forest 200 million. So what he's doing with his squad of players is unbelievable. What he's getting out of them, every last bit of talent he's getting from all these players. They're with him. He's pushing Unai Emery. I mean, he's pushing Tielemans during the week at Fenerbahce. People try and make it. You can't do that. Like you said, he's my son. So I just think he's a fantastic manager. And this is the season where Aston Villa win a trophy and finish in the top 4.
Yeah, we had that discussion earlier, didn't we? Top 4, I think they'd be disappointed if they only finished 4th right now. But it's interesting, obviously you could see what it meant to Unai Emery. His emotions are very publicly on display. When you ask him to talk about the title, I think after the Newcastle game, he said, ask me after game week 35 and I might be able to tell you then. But I think in his heart of hearts,
100%.
He believes that winning the title is a possibility. I won't put it any stronger than that, but a possibility.
Why not? Manchester City aren't the Manchester City of old. They've been struggling recently. Arsenal, 2 points out of a possible 9. And Aston Villa have gone to Newcastle. I predicted a 2-1 win to Newcastle, Jeff, because it's been 17 Premier League games since Aston Villa last won. It was 2005.
Yeah.
Aston Villa last won in the Premier League at St James's Park. And to go there, I mean, the whole game, all you heard was the Villa fans. And they're in such a loud voice because their team's performing, their team's playing quality football. The first goal, exactly what Newcastle are missing. Little passes in between that middle of the pitch, getting to Buendia, goal. Rodgers was fantastic on the counter-attack at the back as well. Konsa, strong. Torres, Martinez back to his best with some fantastic saves. Next, it's Brentford at home on Sunday. So you win that, Arsenal might drop points against Leeds. You never know, Jeff. But if you offered a Villa fan now, win a trophy and finish in the top 4, that'll be a fantastic season. But why not believe?
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting that they brought Leon Bailey back as well, who, I always liked him at Villa. Yes. Went up to Roma, didn't really cut the mustard there, but hopefully he's another body in, isn't he?
That shows how cruel these rules are, where Man City, oh, no problem. Semenyo, Guehi, let's get them in. That's nearly 100 million, no problem. Villa, okay, let's try and do a little business. We'll give
Yeah.
you a player and give us Tammy Abraham, but Leon Bailey, I didn't really fancy you, so you come back. We need bodies here. Harvey Elliott was put on the bench yesterday because of numbers. I think five Premier League appearances, then you have to pay 30 million for him. So he's not going to do that, Emery, but he's thinking, let me just get him on the bench because we're struggling for numbers.
Yeah. John's texting me says, Ollie Watkins has to be on the plane for the World Cup. Perfect cover for Kane. Always puts his shift in. Maybe not the best finisher, but every now and again puts decent streaks together. Always gives defenders a hard time and pops up with vital goals. Thanks very much indeed, John. Just a quick, I know you weren't particularly interested in Newcastle, but just a word on them because, you know, of course they've got a lot of games to play, but I think Eddie Howe said we aren't going to be spending in this transfer window. And you have to look at the business they did during the summer. Voltemade, Elanga, Ramsey. Hasn't worked, has it? I'm
not sure about Voltemade.
The big boy at the back, Chow, that's worked. But apart from that...
Every time I watch Elanga, he runs the ball out of play.
Oh, and Wissa as well, of course.
I think Wissa will come good. Elanga is struggling. No Premier League goal so far for Newcastle. Voltemade looks very slow. You'd think he'd be good in the air, Jeff, but he's not a good finisher in the air either. I think that hasn't worked. That was a bit of maybe a panic signing with the problems with Isak and Ekitike not choosing Newcastle. Also look at right back. Trippier, listen, fantastic career, but he looks off it. And that's going to happen. His age. Yesterday he was giving the ball away, very sloppy. The fans were moaning at him a lot. Really missed Livramento, Jeff.
Yeah,
I like Lewis Hall at left back, but Livramento, energy, pace,
outstanding player.
1v1 defending. They missed him yesterday. Gordon, no Premier League goal in over a year from open play.
Yeah,
baffling.
I do think that when you ask questions, as people are about Newcastle, you have to look at the recruitment and whoever's responsible for the recruitment, they did not get it right during the summer. That's how it appears.
Do you think he stays there, Eddie Howe? Because the frustrations.
I do. I do. It's still a great job.
Yes.
It's a great job. And again, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Newcastle put together a nice run.
Yeah, only 4 points off top 5.
Exactly.
Not a million miles off.
Wouldn't surprise me if they finished 5th, 6th, something like
that.
Yes. Still to come then on Breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
A big lineup guests in the final hour of the show, including 9-time major trophy winner with the Arsenal, David Seaman. We'll get his take on that defeat yesterday. Sheffield United defender, somebody who knows Thomas Frank better than most, Ben Mee, will also be on the show. And that was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is alongside me. Abby, who's a Man United fan from Glasgow, has texted in, "Oh, Jeff, Gabby, how the Gunners supporters will weep if Unai Emery wins the league with the Villa."
Imagine that.
Ooh.
Divert that trophy parade into London, Jeff. Into North London.
Arsenal fans are miserable enough this morning. We don't want to make things even worse than they already are. 8:50 exactly. Let's head down under, get an update from the Australian Open tennis with Toby Gillies. Morning, Toby.
Good morning, Jeff. No misery if you're a fan of Yannick Sinner or the women's second-seed Iga Swiatek, both potential favourites to win their respective Australian Open singles competitions this year, and they're both motoring towards the quarterfinals. Sinner, the men's defending champion, is 2 sets up against fellow Italian Luciano Darderi, 6-1, 6-3. Darderi making a bit of a fist of it in the third set. It is 4-all, but this is just a matter of time, you would think. As, unless there's a huge change, is Swiatek's clash with the Aussie qualifier Madison Inglis. The Pole is a complete other level to the 28-year-old who'd never gone beyond the second round of a slam until this week and only reached round 4 because of Naomi Osaka pulling out before their match in round 3. The first set today was a bagel for Swiatek. 6-love just a few moments ago. Inglis, though, does have 2 break points in the first game of the second set on Swiatek's serve. Remember earlier, the women's defending champ went out to Jessica Pegula, that's Madison Keys, and there have also been wins today for Amanda Anisimova, Elena Rybakina, and in the men's for Lorenzo Musetti.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Every set exclusively live on TNT Sports. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, it's time now for a look at the January transfer window in partnership with Intuit QuickBooks.
Rookies Roundup, right here every day. Rookies Roundup, which players are on their way. If an agent's got a story.
Hello, Alex Crook. What you got for me?
Rookie gets it first.
Yeehaw, cowboy. There's a snake in my boot.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this was always going to be a difficult deal to do. We got news Friday afternoon that Tottenham, who were originally planning to sign Andy Robertson when his Liverpool contract expires in the summer, were looking to bring that move forward. Obviously, with their recent run of form, they need all the help they can get. But it seemed a strange one for Liverpool to sanction, bearing in mind that I think the jury is still out on Milos Kerkez. He played well, actually, in the Champions League in midweek, but was hauled off at half-time in that defeat at Bournemouth at the weekend, having really struggled against his former club. Robertson is a big voice in the dressing room, one of the leaders alongside the likes of Virgil van Dijk. So I'm not surprised that at the moment Liverpool have pulled the plug on this one. It's not definitely off, and obviously there's still a week to go in the window, but at the moment it looks like Robertson will stay and see out his contract. If the move does happen to Spurs, I'm told the fee would be around about £5 million, inclusive of add-ons. And you can understand why Tottenham are looking at someone like Robertson, because they look a group of players who are lacking a bit of his leadership at this moment in time.
Crookie, what about Tammy Abraham? Is that going to be done today, do you think, for Aston Villa?
Yeah, should be, Gabs. He was flying in for a medical at the weekend, a fee agreed for £21 million, or 21 million euros, I should say, to sign him from Besiktas. Obviously, someone who knows the club well, had a good loan spell last time. And I've got to say I was impressed with Villa at the weekend. How would they respond to that defeat at home to Everton? To go to Newcastle, win there for the first time in years is a real statement from Unai Emery and his players. But they do need reinforcements, don't they? They do need a bit of help in terms of taking the load off Ollie Watkins. And I think this could be quite a good signing for Villa.
Yes.
Been a relatively quiet window so far, hasn't it, Crookie? Do you expect it to explode this week?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some big deals, haven't we? Not least Manchester City signing Anton Semenyo and Mark Gay as well, two players tried and tested in the Premier League. Tottenham getting Conor Gallagher. Obviously, Villa now with Tammy Abraham. But you're right, it's maybe not been the January window that we've seen previously, although this is always a lot quieter than the summer. I still think there are teams who are looking to do business. West Ham trying to get a goalkeeper in. Anton Kinski at Spurs is someone that keeps being mentioned to me. We could see developments with regards to Lucas Paquetá departing the London Stadium today. Flamengo pretty close now, as I understand it, to reach an agreement with West Ham to sign him.
Isn't it nice, Cookie? Isn't it nice to see West Ham doing well with players that want to be there and want to fight for the club? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure some of the West Ham fans would love to drive Paquetá to the airport today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't think Paquetá's covered himself in any glory when you look at how West Ham stood by him during those betting allegations. I think probably morally he should have seen it out for the rest of the season and tried to help them stay in the Premier League. But we know that's not how some players operate. And I've got to say, speaking to West Ham fans, they look at his form over the last 18 months and they're not shedding too many tears.
No
what
way.
was nice at the weekend was seeing James Ward-Prowse back on that West Ham bench, because you talk about consummate professionals, he is one, and I always found it a bit bizarre that Nuno Espirito Santo was just willing to ostracise him from the first team.
Agreed. Any prospect of Jean-Philippe Mateta getting the move that he seems to want this window?
I'm not sure, Jeff. I look at the price tag, and I'm speaking to Alan Pardew about this. We were at Fulham against Brighton covering that game for talkSPORT at the weekend, and £40 million to both of us seemed a little bit rich for a player who isn't in the first flush of youth and still misses chances. You look even yesterday against Chelsea, he's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. If he puts that away, it could have been a very different outcome. He wants 150 grand a week in his pay packet as well. I think that might be a bit rich in this window, but if he does go, keep an eye on Crystal Palace and Jurgen Strand-Larsen. At the moment, Leeds seem to be the favourites to sign him from Wolves, but if Mateta was to be sold, obviously Palace would need a replacement.
Yeah. Interesting. Thanks. What about this, Cookie? I've got a text here from Kobe Rowe, who says, unbelievable performance from Michael Carrick's boys. Let's not get carried away, but top three would be a brilliant season. Is he getting carried away?
I think he might be. Those top three do look pretty cemented, but fourth and fifth are up for grabs. And as I say, you look at the fixtures United have got to come in the next 4 or 5 weeks. They've got a real opportunity to put points on the board, but I think he needs a bit of help in this window as well, because they are like Manchester United in terms of numbers. I don't think it's going to happen, but Ineos, I think, should look at the league table, realise there's a big chance to deliver Champions League football and maybe bring in a couple of players on loan.
Yeah. Crookie, thanks very much indeed.
Cookie. Top man.
Cheers, guys.
I tell you who else I thought played well yesterday. You know, Manchester United, to a man, really, but somebody who has been criticised, abused even, during the course of recent seasons, Casemiro.
Spot on.
You know, I mean, he's dug in and he just shows his class.
It was everywhere on the pitch. He was flying around. He was like, I think he outpaced Odegaard at one point when he won a free kick. But yeah, I thought he was fantastic. Is it because he's out of contract? Is it because he's out of contract?
He said he's leaving at the end of the season.
Can you imagine the Saudi Arabia move for Casemiro? Go and get your last big payday. But I just think as well, Jeff, we have to big up Harry Maguire, because what he's been through as a player, as a person, even the abuse and the mockery, people making reels about his mistakes over the years, pundits saying savage things about him, and to go through all that and still have the mental strength to be doing what he's doing. Injury problems this season, but the last 2 games, rock solid, Jeff. Player of the match on the weekend. I'm hoping he can continue this. And if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I'm like, yeah, there's space for you in this squad. Gahey and Conte will probably be the starters. Stones, injury problems, but there's space for Harry Maguire in that squad.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. John Stones has got so many injury issues. John from Salford has said just that. Harry Maguire is better than most English defenders that they're picking in front of him at the moment. Hard to argue against that, John, bearing in mind what he's done at the weekend, but I completely agree with you as well about Conster and Gahey. Coming up, we've had Arsenal fans all morning bemoaning that performance yesterday and the lack of creativity. What does a man who played in one of Arsenal's greatest ever teams think about it all? David Seaman is with us next.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Shin pads are a footballer's best friend, even if players like Jack Grealish do wear such small ones you can barely even see them. But what's the story with shin pads, and are there any rules on how big they should be? It all started with cricket, actually. Cricketers had been wearing shin pads since the 1700s. They'd been introduced not for leg protection, but instead to give batters a strategic advantage. The idea was that batters could put their leg pads in front of the wicket if they missed the ball, preventing them from being bowled out. Obviously, that all changed when the LBW rule came in, but that was the theory behind them. It was thanks to this guy that shin protection made its way over to football. Meet Samuel Widdowson. He was a cricketer and a footballer. He played for Nottingham Forest back in the late 1800s, and he wanted a way to protect his legs from nasty tackles. Apparently, he'd broken his leg in a match against Sheffield United in 1874 and wanted to stop it from happening again. Naturally, his mind drifted to his other favourite sport, where players had been wearing these pads. Story goes, Widdowson cut up his cricket pads, sewed them into his socks and popped them on before taking to the footy pitch. Ta-da! Shin pads. Like all great genius inventors, everyone took the mickey at first. To be fair, he probably looked quite stupid running around with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Penistone Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB though. That's why Grealish and co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
Good morning, 9:05. It's Monday, January the 26th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, Gabby Agbonlahor, and Arnold Clark's real sale. Huge savings to be had on over 20,000 used cars. Paul in Durham says West Ham's Jarrod Bowen should be starting for England. Best winger in the Premier League. It's going to be interesting to see, isn't it? There's a lot of speculation that he might not make the cut when Thomas Tuchel names his squad, but
he should do.
He should do. And the lack of form from one or two others means that I think he's more and more likely to.
And also maybe he takes Kane and Watkins and not a third centre forward.
Possibly.
And then Bowen. That's how Bowen
could
gets
play
in.
down there if need be.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I hope for his sake he does, because, he's a player who puts it in week in
Totally
and week
agree,
out.
mate.
Now, another twist in the Premier League title race yesterday. Arsenal, of course, stunned by Manchester United, and it's all getting a bit nervy in North London.
First, congratulate the opponent for what they've done, and then realize that we weren't at the standards that we need to win a match like this against this United team.
Arsenal got weak mentality. It's his game management. He's not fit to be our manager.
We seem to be relying on set pieces too much.
I don't think they need to set up. I think they just need to keep the momentum going. Just get it down and play. Set plays in and around the box and around the halfway line. Just get on with it.
You spend £63 million on Eze, £52 million on Madueke, and he just can't get them into the system. If Arteta doesn't get over the line this season, he's got to go at the end of the season. He's been back.
We've put ourselves in huge jeopardy. 4 points is nothing to Man City and Pep Guardiola. It's really not.
And Villa.
Arsenal suffering their first home defeat of the season. It's 3 games now without a win. Manchester United celebrating a 3-2 victory there. Jamie has texted in saying, "Morning lads, I'm struggling with all this Arsenal doom and gloom. Fact is, we're 4 points clear and have just lost a game against a confident and buoyant Manchester United. We have no divine right to win games. We just had an off day. We gifted them 1 goal and conceded 2 worldies." Well, let's see if a man who knows all about winning trophies shares that viewpoint. It's the former Arsenal goalkeeper, David Seaman. Morning, David.
Good morning, David.
Good morning, lads.
As Jamie just summed it up there, really, Arsenal had a bit of an off day and lost to a couple of worldies, or was it more concerning than that?
No, it was a little bit of an off day, but it was a great performance by Man United. You've got to give them credit because the last 2 games they've had, obviously they beat City with a great performance. That wasn't luck. And then they beat us with, a couple of fantastic goals. Okay, we gave them a goal. But when you look at the overall picture, I think, they just about deserved it, if I'm honest. I didn't see Lehmann's making many saves, like with David Raya as well. There weren't that many chances. I think Man United had 3 shots on target and had 3 goals. So it was a great performance by Man United, and I'm not getting worried.
Naturally, David, there's going to be pressure, isn't there? This group of players aren't used to winning Premier League titles. They've had so many chances this season to extend that lead, haven't they? To maybe 9 to 12 points, and they haven't. 2 points out of the last possible 9. Do you think the pressure is affecting the players?
The pressure is building up, Gab. No doubt about that. Because of the history of the last 3 seasons as well. Like you said, we've only taken 2 points from 3 from the last 3 games. When you looked at that before the defeat of Man United, you were thinking, okay, that's a little blip, but you're still picking up points. But now we've got a defeat in that. So people are going to start looking, people are going to start talking, but, it's how you react after games like this. And when you look at the fixtures that they've got coming up, I think they've got Leeds tonight, and then they've got Sunderland and Brentford. So they're games that they should win. Not Leeds tonight, Leeds on the weekend. Yeah, but, they're games that they should win. So it's all about reacting and still being positive. You're top of the league. Okay, you've just dropped 3 points against Man United, who are full of confidence at the moment, and they're going to be hard to beat whoever they play.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you concerned at all, David, about the lack of goals from open play?
A little bit, a little bit. But when you're as good as what you are on set pieces, you play to your strengths. and that's what we're doing. We're getting the corner. And when you look at the Arsenal goal yesterday with Dogu, he should just head that out for a corner. But obviously he's aware of how good we are at corners, and he tried to either flick it on or get distance on it and messed it up, and it gave Saka and then Odegaard the chance to get it back in the box. So play to your strengths. The goals from normal play will come. I'm sure they will. Obviously there was a big change with Jesus and Gyökeres. I still like that. I still like the fact that I thought it was a good game to leave Gyökeres out, because he'd just come off scoring a couple of goals in the last few games, so his confidence was building. And then it gave Jesus a chance. Obviously Mikel made the substitutions quite early on in the game, and then brought Gyökeres on and gave him a chance. But no, I'm not worried at all, Jeff, about that. Keep doing what you're good at.
What about the atmosphere last night, David? Because it was the same against Liverpool at home. Seemed a bit nervy. I had a few friends that went yesterday. They said the fans seemed very nervy. Do you think that's affecting the players?
It will do if they carry on, Gabby. Because I was working at PLP yesterday with Michael Owen and Owen Hargreaves, and you could feel that. You could feel it just watching the game on TV. That the fans were getting a little bit edgy. But we don't need that. We need the fans to get behind us in situations like that. But obviously they're going to be like that because of what's happened in the last few seasons. There's no doubt about that will be on players' minds, but it's about taking that next step forward, and that's what to win the league. That's what you've got to do.
I mean, look. Obviously, as an ex-Arsenal man, the next bit's hard, because we just talk Manchester United for a moment or two, and the credit to them, they've got a real cutting edge in Buemo and Cunha. Bruno Fernandes, absolutely brilliant, and Harry Maguire. Has he done enough for you, David, or is he doing enough, do you think, to earn a place in the England squad?
It's a great question, Jeff, because it's tough. I would like him in the England squad, because for me, what you're getting with Harry Maguire. For what he's been through, the amount of stick that he got, the character of that guy is tremendous. And he's playing like he's playing now, then there's no reason why he shouldn't be in that squad.
What about Saka and his form? 0 goals in his last 13 appearances in all comps. David, he's got to do better, hasn't he?
He has, Gab, but then you look at, there's quite a few of them, when you look at yesterday, that have got to do better. Saka started really well in the game, but then he just didn't carry it on through, to his normal standard. His normal standard is really high, and we all know that. But, I'm not worried about him at all, because he's a quality player, and he'll produce when needed to.
Still confident, David?
Yes, I am, mate. It's not been a good weekend. Forest and excuse me. All catching up with Leeds. Forest and West Ham. So it's a massive game tonight for Leeds at Everton. So I hope that hopefully they're going to cheer me up for the weekend. They make it easy start to the week.
Good lad, David. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, David.
Top man from you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Big night for Leeds. We'll talk Everton Leeds, by the way, just after.
I fancy Leeds to win.
Yeah. I'm not so sure. Everton,
been better away from home, haven't they, recently?
They have. Lots of sides find it difficult when they move into a new stadium, but Everton are getting bodies back now as well, which is great for them. Niles texted, he said the amount of people that were saying the league was done, even back in October, including talkSPORT pundits. How can anyone trust Arteta to bring it home after the last 2 seasons? If Arsenal somehow fail to win the league from their position, it has to be curtains for Mikel. What do you think?
Oh, he doesn't win the Premier League this season. Goodbye. Has to be.
Yeah.
The money that he spent as well. We talk about Pep, Liverpool, Chelsea. The money Arsenal have spent. They've got 2.5 teams available, Jeff. The squad's that good that one year he had to go out and get some game time at Marseille. Scored a great goal on the weekend as well in his debut. Has to win the Premier League.
Yeah. It's interesting. One thing you can't accuse him of is not going for it yesterday. I know that when they were behind, 4 changes in the 58th minute, so he took what he hoped would be a sort of dynamic action. Just it didn't quite work.
Weird that Louis Skelly didn't come on, though. He'd rather Ben White and then Timber to left back.
Yeah.
I think Louis Skelly must be thinking, what do I have to do to get a Premier League start?
Yeah, and
he won't be on the plane either, Jim.
No, he's not. Another one who's got to be playing to be on the plane. Kevin Davis has said, any chance of mentioning the South Coast derby? We did a bit earlier on. We just touched on it. Bit of a feisty affair by all accounts. Finished Portsmouth 1, Southampton 1. Saints led. Pompey equalised. Pompey out of the relegation places. Saints still can't buy a win at the moment. So.
It was feisty as well, Sheffield United Ipswich, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I seen a clip after the game where Sheffield United players run into the tunnel and Ipswich players are chasing.
Yeah.
It actually made me laugh.
I saw an Ipswich fan who tweeted about this, saying Ipswich showing more fight in the half-time interval than they did in the entire first 45 minutes. Because that was a body blow for them losing at Sheffield United, which we will talk about in a couple of moments' time, because we'll be talking with Ben Mee, the Sheffield United defender. He'll be telling us about life in the Championship, Brentford being a surprise package in the Premier League, and we'll get his thoughts on Thomas Frank struggling at Spurs. That's next. Good morning. It's almost 9:20. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm just telling Gabby and Agbonlahor is with me. Let's talk a bit of Sheffield United now. Big win for them over Ipswich at Bramall Lane at the weekend. Attempting to turn around, of course, a poor start to the season and helping them turn it all around, I'm happy to say, is the Sheffield United defender, former Brentford man, Ben Mee. Morning, Ben.
Morning, Ben.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby.
Hey, Ben, great win at the weekend, wasn't it? When I look at the table now, I think you've won 8 of the last 13. Are you looking upwards, or are you still looking over your shoulders a bit?
No, absolutely looking upwards. The group we've got, the club, the size of it, we should definitely be pushing up there. We had a really difficult start to the season. Few injuries here and there. Myself being out as well over Christmas was a bit frustrating. But yeah, I think we're certainly looking up and trying to catch those teams above us. It's going to be difficult, but this league is it's really competitive and anything can happen. So yeah, certainly looking up.
It's a big win, wasn't it, on the weekend against Ipswich? But I've seen a clip, Ben, at half-time, some of the Ipswich players trying to chase one of your teammates down the tunnel. What was that about?
Yeah, it was a bit of bit before the whistle went, I think, when the boys went down and Silly Peck is a bit of a wind-up, and he must have said something to one of their boys and got them riled up. But he's used to doing that, so he's a bit of a wind-up. But that was all good. Nothing kicked off too much in the tunnel, but yeah.
Well, look, obviously there was a terrible start to the season. But I look at your side now. You certainly got goals in there. I know Patrick Bamford was sent off at the weekend, but he's been a revelation since he got there. And the likes of Callum O'Hare and Gus Harmer, you've got plenty of goals in the side, haven't you?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of quality. Pat's come in, done fantastic, scored some great goals, important goals for us. Got sent off at the weekend. But you won't want to watch that back, but. Yeah, like you say, Callum, Gus, lots of players, Tom Cannon, Tyrese Campbell, Danny Ings, loads of players in there, full of quality that we've got. And as I said before, we've got the group that can push up this league, and we really should be doing that. So we've got some big games coming up. Obviously, Saturday was massive against Ipswich, who are flying at the minute. So yeah, we've got some games, some winnable games, and keeping our place a fortress is massive for us at Bramwell Lane.
I know when you came to the studio a year or so ago, Ben, you were keen to move back north. So how have you enjoyed it? How have you settled in there?
Yeah, nothing against the south. I really enjoyed my time there, but being back home, travelling across the Pennines over to Sheffield has been enjoyable, and I've really enjoyed it at the club. Playing games, playing matches, getting involved, and it's different to the Premier League, being back in the Championship. I say every game's a fight, and you don't know what's going to happen. But no, I've really enjoyed it. Very much up for that fight, and so it's good to be playing games for myself, and being the age I am, I just want to enjoy the football.
I need to ask you about your old manager, Thomas Frank. You had a spell with him at Brentford. Spurs doing well in the Champions League, but struggling in the Premier League. A lot of boos from the fans on the weekend against Burnley. What sort of manager is he, and what can he bring to this football club?
Yeah, the experience I've got with working with Thomas, I hold him really high regard. I think he's a fantastic manager, really good man manager, coach. He's on the training ground working hard, and I know things aren't going his way at the minute in the league, and how much he'll be wanting to put that right. He's, tactically, every little ounce of thought goes into his process. I can't say I've watched every single Spurs game this season, but from what I have watched, I feel like sometimes getting let down a little bit by some players. Maybe sometimes I watched the Dortmund game. I thought they were fantastic. I thought the energy was there. Obviously, I know they played 45 minutes against 10 men, but felt like the players were still with him, and that's really important.
Are you convinced that, given the time, Ben, that he will turn it round?
I believe so. I think he's a top manager. I don't think the club can keep going from manager to manager expecting changes within 6 months. I think it'll take time. I think good managers do come to the fore, and I think his record at Brentford was fantastic, working with the players that he had, and to get to where we got at that time was magnificent. And I do believe that given the time that he will become a top manager for the club. But football's a cutthroat business, and if the results aren't going the way in the league, obviously Europe's going well, but we saw what happened last season when Europe goes well and the league doesn't. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
I think sometimes as players, they've got to take a responsibility as well. Van der Ven is your top goal scorer. I mean, fantastic defender, dangerous in the box, but some of the attacking players and, setting midfielders have got to step up, haven't they, and get goals.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of the players have been in and out of the side. I think, obviously, you look at the front three at the weekend, Odebear, Solanke, Xavi Simons. Odebear's been in and out of the side. Solanke's been out for a long time. Xavi Simons coming to a new league, trying to still find his feet after so long. But he's obviously a top quality player. A few of the other players, his captain's been in and out of the side for discipline reasons. That's not going to go. That's not going to help. And yeah, like you say, the centre half's going to be is the top scorer, so it doesn't help. But getting that consistency in the side is important, and I think working on that is going to be the main priority.
I'm sure you keep your eye on what's happening at Brentford, Ben. I mean, what a season they've had.
Yeah, fantastic. Keith steadied the ship really well since the start of the season. A lot of people, a lot of punters would have thought that they'd be in the relegation spots or fighting that battle down there. But I was confident with the group of players that they had that they would do well this year. I know the quality they've got in the group, and I just think the appointment of Keith was really important. Not trying to change too much. He could have brought another manager in, wanting to change everything all of a sudden, and it might not have worked and gone the other way, but Keith slowly added his bit into the team and the group, and yeah, they didn't perform great yesterday, but they've had some fantastic results and are really pushing up the league and doing really well. But as I said, they've got some quality in the group, and fully expect them to do well this year.
Ben, I got one quick one on Callum O'Hare. Is that Villa with me? Has his dress sense got any better?
I don't know about his dress sense. His music certainly isn't any better. He's got some wild music choices, but yeah, he's been a quality for us. He's been our best player this year.
Good lad, isn't he?
His performance, he's been fantastic. His consistency has been superb. He's been our best player.
Oh, brilliant. Look, I'm glad it's going so well for you, Ben. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Ben. Top man.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Ben Mee, the Sheffield United defender, reflections on what's happening at Tottenham with his old boss, Thomas Frank, and also what's happening at Brentford right now.
So reliable, isn't he? Ben Mee, his whole career, so reliable.
Yeah.
Know what you're getting.
Yeah, he certainly had no intentions of retiring, and obviously took him just a little while to get really motoring at Sheffield United, but now he is, class act, I think. Yeah.
Spot on.
Couple of messages here. One, this is harsh, by the way. This is a message I've got on X from Mark. This is, if Declan Rice was still playing for Ireland, he'd be at Watford now. Good, very good, he says, but nothing else. And Cam from Derby says, Harry Maguire, I would love to sit with Harry Maguire for 10 minutes just to learn something from his mental strength.
Yes.
I think we can all agree with that one.
Spot on.
Yeah, been through a lot. But I'm not sure, Mark. I'm not sure that Declan would be at Watford.
No.
And maybe if he was at Watford, maybe we'll be talking about Watford as contenders for the top four, eh? Coming up with West Ham and Nottingham Forest winning over the weekend, has that blown the relegation battle wide open? We will discuss that next.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Good morning, 9:33. It's a Monday morning, January the 26th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Save on your next car in the real sale. It is the UK's biggest used car sale. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. We've got to head straight to the phone lines. Stuart is a Villa fan. He wants to have a chat with Gabby about Unai Emery. Morning, Stuart.
Morning, Stuart.
Morning. I'm in the company of two absolute legends. Gabby, love you. Jeff, love you more.
Ah, thanks, mate. Thank you very much. So go on, the floor is yours, Unai Emery.
Best manager in world football. Simple. You put Unai Emery in charge of Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, they win the league. It's simple as that. We have sold again. Manchester City are buying players. Semenyo, Gahey. Look what we did yesterday at Newcastle away. Absolutely stunning performance from Villa. And I'll tell you what, if we didn't have the limitations on our finances, who knows where we could end up? What do you think, lads?
I totally agree, mate. And what did the manager say about a year ago? I want to dream. I want the fans to dream. And those dreams maybe are going to be halted because of the PSR problems. But what he's doing with his group of players, I mean, Brendia, look at the difference of him this season, Stuart.
Where has he come from, by the way?
Exactly.
Where has he come from?
Morgan Rogers.
Nowhere.
Morgan Rogers, I messaged him last night saying, listen, like, it's a joy to watch you play football. It looks like he's having fun out there, doesn't he?
Can I say one thing, Gabby? Can I say one thing?
Yep.
Have you noticed that technique, right, that Morgan Rogers executed with that knuckleball?
Yep.
Who's teaching him that? Is it that Red Hot Chili Pepper with his iPad?
It's not me, by the way. I'll just go over the bar. But Aston Villa, for me, what would you take as a fan now if you got offered top four and win Europa League or the FA Cup? Would you take that now, Stuart?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, we're not going to put a title challenge in, let's be honest. We're not going to. But
Jeff disagrees with you.
If we didn't have the limitations, you know what our owners are like. You probably know more about it than me, Gabs. But Jesus, man, if we didn't have the limitations that we've got, who knows where we could end up. It's just brilliant to watch, and it's just brilliant.
Hey, Stuart, don't rule that title challenge out. Don't rule it out. You're just 4 points off, you know. Live the dream, mate. Thanks, Stuart.
Top man, Stu.
Jeff. Cheers, Gabs.
Now Everton host Leeds at the Hill Dickinson tonight. Leeds arrive with just one defeat in the last 10 games. Former Leeds midfielder Gary McAllister joined Sunday edition and praised his old club for how well they've done this campaign.
I like him. I like the fella, I like his style. I think he hit on something at the Emirates, the Etihad, sorry, when they were getting beat up, and he went to 2 up and 3 at the back, and he's sort of stayed with that. And Calvert-Lewin, for me, when fit, will keep them up.
Yeah.
Nemecha as well is a good player, but when the two of them are playing together, they're a handful. I think the spare centre half has helped, and I think the full-backs are more. They're more suited to a back three, you know, where they can go and play wing backs. Because the pairing Bogle and Goodmanson, they love to bomb forward. They're really exciting at getting in the opponent's half. So I think Leeds will be fine. I'm really pleased for them.
Still looking over their shoulders a bit, though, at the moment, aren't they? Because the signs below have started to pick up wins. Look, joining us to look ahead to tonight's game, a man who played for both clubs, former Leeds and Everton striker Jermaine Beckford. Morning, Jermaine.
Morning, Jermaine.
Morning, fellas. How are we?
Yeah, really good,
Very
thanks,
well,
mate.
mate.
Yeah. I just wonder who's having the most unexpectedly successful season. Everton, who, if they win, would be a point behind Liverpool, or Leeds, who most people thought would go down this season.
How about this? If Leeds win, they go level on points with Palace and Tottenham. That's a massive statement in itself, especially when you look at where Palace were last season. Spurs, not so much, but incredible. Both teams have had their challenges this season, let's say. Injuries, suspensions, but, you know, look at where they are. Look at the type of football that Leeds are playing, especially. But Everton, they're struggling up top in terms of the goals that they're scoring with Beto and Barry, but they're creating so many chances. And albeit Jack Grealish, obviously Gabs, he's one of your good mates. He's been phenomenal all season. He's a huge loss. But Everton will have players like Ndiaye coming back and Dewsbury Hall. There's a few players coming back from injuries, from suspensions, who are going to give Everton that needed boost to push on. And listen, who knows? Everton might even creep into one of those European spots last minute. You know, it's an option. It's on.
Yep, definitely. But when you look at Leeds, Jermaine, what I've been impressed with them was, I think it was a couple of months ago when there was talk that, you know, the manager might get sacked, but they kept with him. And since then, they've been scared of nobody. That's what I like about Leeds now. No matter who they're playing, they're going to try and get something out of the game. They're not sitting back and holding on. They're going for it as well.
Do you know what? My old gaffer, Gary McAllister, he said it just then. When Leeds were getting beaten up, battered the first half against Man City at the Etihad, and I know lots of people have spoken about it, but changing from a 4 at the back to a 5 at the back, going the 3 centre-halves and then the 2 full-backs, Goodmanson and Bogle pushing on, and James Justin coming in when Bogle was out injured. That was a huge difference. The 2 big boys up top, you know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's people say it's my derby. It's not my derby. It's his derby. You know, he's Mr. Everton, and now he's Mr. Leeds, and he's doing he's doing the job, and he's staying fit. He looks hungry. And I spoke to him incidentally when he first signed for the club. I interviewed him, and I said to him, look, there's lots of conversations going on and talking about your injury record. What do you have to say about that? And he said, do you know what? I'm older now. I'm wiser now. I understand my body much more than I ever did. And I'm confident in my body. So as long as I do what I know I physically can do, you're going to see a beast in me. And the European, and there's a World Cup around the corner. That's what I'm pushing for. I don't see why he shouldn't be in with a shout. You know, he's been incredible in front of goal, what he offers. I know, Gabs, you're talking about Ollie Watkins, and I'm a huge admirer of his as well. I don't see why they both shouldn't be on the plane alongside Harry.
Yeah, good shout.
Has he surprised you, though, Jermaine? You know, I know he can say these things, and he can say, I'm older, I'm wiser, I can look after my body. But look, 8 in his last 10 games, 9 for the season. Has he surprised you with how much success he's had?
It would be, I'll be lying if I said he hasn't surprised me. He has surprised me, but I think the main reason why he has surprised me is the purple patch that he was in. He scored 3 goals in a row, 4 goals in a row, 5 in a row. And I'm thinking to myself, flipping heck, it's a matter of time before he hits a brick wall here and then goes on a 3, 4, 5 game run without scoring. And he just doesn't look like he's not going to score. He looks like he's a constant threat. He gets himself in the 18-yard box, anywhere in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard line. That's where he is. Not only is he decent on the floor, but he's a beast in the air. And that's what gives Leeds that out ball. Sometimes it's nice to watch the ticky-tacky football playing out from the back and every player getting a touch. But every now and then, you've just got to go long ball, go back to front, nice and direct, and hope that you've got somebody to hold it up. Dominic does that. Lucas Mecha does that. And when those boys do that, they give the midfield players an option to squeeze up, and that's where the high intensity pressing of Brendan Aronson and Anton Stack, etc., come into their own. So I'm genuinely looking forward to it, to the game tonight. I'm going to be there. My little boy's going to be there.
Lovely.
Half and half shirts, half and half shirts. Going around, going nuts. Yeah, we'll see.
Do you know who's been impressive and has got a chance of getting called up to the next squad? And he annoyed me last week because he was so good putting tackles in. James Garner. How good has he been this season? Signed a new contract as well, hasn't he? Recent days.
He signed a new contract, 3 days ago, I think it was. Season through until 2030. Again, so I had a conversation with him after the Sunderland game, the cup game. And he was devastated that he missed his penalty in the shootout. But honestly, the head on this boy's shoulders, he's so wise beyond his years. He understands what's required to play for Everton. He understands what it means to be an Evertonian, to represent that club. And that's the reason he sacrificed his future to Everton. There were links with him going back to Manchester United. But I genuinely think he's made the right call, the right decision. Yes. Everton stood by him, trusted him, believed in him, gave him that self-confidence. And now we're seeing that with the performances that he's putting in.
Jermaine, you and your boy enjoy it tonight, mate.
Enjoy it, pal.
Will do. Fellas, have a great show as always. I love you, boys. See you in a bit.
Thanks, Jermaine. You take care. He was right there. No Jack Grealish tonight, but and Dye's back. Tristan Garner-Gay is also back from the African Nations Cup. Dewsbury Hall and Jared Branthwaite are both back in training.
Are they?
As is Charlie Alcaraz. So suddenly, David
I'm hoping for an end-to-end game tonight.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not sure how end-to-end it'll be. I think I see 1 goal in it, to be brutally honest. Just quickly, Bob in Chiswick is dead right. Gents, disappointed not to hear any mention of a big Sunday of football in Scotland. Poor particularly as today marks 100 years since John Logie Baird demonstrated the first working television. And I tell you what, Bob, I think we will talk about... Coyce's going to be back tomorrow. We'll talk about it more tomorrow.
Our producer, Ollie, didn't pull it in the running order.
Obviously, Hearts coming back twice against Celtic. Rangers winning for an 8th game on the bounce in all competitions. But the gap is still 4 points. Hearts 4 points clear of Rangers, 2 points further clear of Celtic. Everything to play for as far as Hearts are concerned.
Yep.
Don't forget, by the way, Everton against Leeds live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Right, it's time now for this.
Win a trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Yeah, our next competition has arrived. We're giving away a week for 2 people at the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town. Every day of the match between England and South Africa, with flights, hotel and spending money all covered. Very nice. This is how to enter. For your chance to win, text WIN, that's W-I-N, to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines close February the 6th at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer. If your phone rings, 18 plus UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 and do it now. Coming up, we'll turn our attention back to Liverpool as the pressure continues to grow on Arnie Slot.
Win a trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT. Breakfast 9:49. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Pete at Edinburgh has texted. He said, what was the point of John Logie Baird inventing the television anyway? There was nothing on. Thank you very much indeed. That little pearl of wisdom, Pete. Headlines this morning. Manchester United winger Amad Diallo has been poking fun at Arsenal on social media after helping his team beat the Gunners on Sunday, suggesting Arsenal's only hope of scoring is from corners. Marty Cifuentes has been sacked as Leicester City boss after just 6 months in charge, with Leicester in the bottom half of the championship table. Andy King takes over on an interim basis. And let's get the latest update from the Australian Open with talkSPORT's Toby Gillies. Morning, Toby.
Good morning. In the last 20 minutes, both men's and women's number 2 seeds have cruised into the last 8 in Melbourne. Let's start with the women, because it was obviously Iga Swiatek's best performance so far this tournament, beating Madison Inglis 6-love, 6-3. Although judging where she's at based on this is tough. Inglis is a qualifier ranked outside the world's top 100, and the golfing class is huge. Her fabulous story does end here. £250,000 richer, by far the biggest payday of the 28-year-old's career. Swiatek, though, has bigger fish to fry as she chases the career Grand Slam. Jannik Sinner's straight sets win against fellow Italian Luciano Darderi was not quite as straightforward, but still very routine. The first 2 sets were rapid. The third went to a tiebreak, but the defending champ is through and faces the winner of the late match, Ben Shelton, against Casper Ruud. Earlier, another Italian, Lorenzo Musetti, won through with a brilliant victory over Taylor Fritz. And in the women's, the defending champion Madison Keys went out to her good friend Jessica Pegula, and there were wins for Elena Rybakina and Amanda Anisimova.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Right, let's turn our attention to Liverpool for the final few minutes of the show. Not great for them right now, down to 6th in the Premier League table. 5 Premier League games without a win. And, of course, they lost in the dying embers of the game at Bournemouth. We can hear from the Liverpool boss now, Arne Slot, after that game. He put that result down to fatigue.
We play a very intense Bournemouth team after 2 days ago playing a away game in Europe. The only team that played Champions League that has 2 days rest. All the others had more. But again, my players showed mentality, came back to 2-2, but I think it's fair to say that in the last 10 minutes you could see a few of them were tired.
Yeah, and I get that. And by the way, I just would say that we saw some great goals at the weekend. Adley's goal in the 95th minute for Bournemouth was a really cute finish from an almost impossible angle. And, you know, Bournemouth have sold so many of their players, lost so many players. It was a fabulous result for them. But as far as Liverpool are concerned, well, they played in Marseille on the Wednesday night in the south of France.
Difficult. I mean, so difficult. I mean, a long flight back from France to Liverpool, Jeff, must have been so draining for the players on that private jet with the private chef on there cooking for them. I mean, poor Liverpool players. And the wind, the horrible wind, Jeff, that Van Dijk complained about for the first Bournemouth goal. I mean, like I said earlier, Jeff, Bournemouth, should they get a roof over their stadium when it's windy? Just to help Van Dijk out.
But, they spent so much money during the course of the summer, Liverpool, coming off the back of a title. And I, like many people, I think, thought, yeah, strengthen from a position of strength. But increasingly, it looks to me like that money hasn't been particularly well spent.
442 million.
Oh, wow, was it?
Spent in the summer, that's the total. Isak didn't start off well, did he? Unfortunately, to get an injury. Ekitike, I think, has worked. Wirtz is getting better and better. Kerkez and Frimpong have improved, but then Kerkez on the weekend against his old club wasn't at it. But they've spent that money, Jeff, but they haven't replaced Diaz.
Yeah.
I thought Luis Diaz was a fantastic player for Liverpool. 14 goals, 9 assists already this season for Bayern in all comps. They're missing that pace and power off the wings. Gakpo, okay player to be rotated. Salah, million miles off the Mo Salah that we all know. Watching him again on the weekend, it was the same Salah before the AFCON. Couldn't get past the player. Slow, lost a yard of pace. Yeah, they've got problems, Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the recruitment. I mean, obviously, They tragically lost
Yes.
Diogo Jota. But as you say, they've lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, for instance, even Nunez, even Harvey Elliott, and the energy he could bring into the middle of the park. And I just wonder how much of an upgrade those players are. Tony has said Arnie Slot is waiting for the tap on the shoulder. Tick, tock. Do you think that's possible?
I do think it will happen. I don't think it will happen yet, Jeff. I'll just look at the lack of a helping hand they've given him so far this month. I know the transfer window isn't over, but look at the Gahey transfer. He done a medical, nearly went through in the summer.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace pulled the plug the last seconds. You'd think he'd be guaranteed for January, but they didn't do everything they could to make that deal happen. Semenyo as well, losing out on him. That was a player they were interested in that would be perfect for them with their lack of wingers. I do think that Alonso will be the Liverpool manager by the time next season starts.
But you think, by the sounds of that he's being let down by the people in charge of recruitment at Liverpool.
Can you blame them when you spent 442 million? They're probably thinking, we've given you investment and look at what you're giving us. Arsenal on 50 points, Liverpool on 36. You know, was it a mistake to give 2-year deals to Salah and Van Dijk as well, Jeff? But I just look at Liverpool that were fun to watch under Klopp. You know, Trent Arnold would pick up the ball and then in behind for Mane and Salah. You know, Firmino coming short. They had the legs in midfield as well. I look at Liverpool now and I don't see an identity. I don't see what they're trying to do. They haven't got the pace on the wings they used to have. Obviously, Ekitike, he's starting to have that down the middle. McAllister's been poor, not scoring goals from midfield. Gravenberg's not been at his best. The only plus for Liverpool all season has been Szoboszlai, 8 goals.
So if they do, in the next week that we've got of the transfer window, if they do plunge into that market, where is the priority for you?
Centre half. I mean, Konate has not been at his best this season. Neither has Van Dijk. Gomez can do a job as a squad player.
Picked up an injury again.
Exactly. Losing out on Gahey. But who out there is there for them to go and get, Jeff? What centre half?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it obviously January is notoriously a difficult window, but you do feel that as champions they have to go out and do something. I mean, they have, it seems, backed out of the deal to sell Andy Robertson to Spurs.
So odd.
Would have been incredible.
So odd, Jeff, to even think about it. 5 million. They're saying that Spurs will pay. Why are you not just keeping Robertson to the end of the season, no matter what? It's so important. Kirkers against Bournemouth got dragged at half time. You can't trust him at the moment to put in performances week in, week out. Tsimikas hasn't worked at Roma. You're bringing him back to be cover. Very odd. Something else has happened there.
Where do you think they're going to finish?
I think they'll finish top 5. Okay. I do. I feel that like Wirtz is getting better with every game. Ekitike I really like as well. They've got no choice, Jeff. They really got no choice.
Well, it would be a disaster for them if they finished outside of the Champions League.
Exactly.
Just one more text here. So I didn't hear Arnie Slot complaining about the extra day of rest they had before the Marseille game. Yeah, swings and roundabouts. Thank you very much.
I think what stands to me the weekend, Jeff, stands out was it was too windy. That's a wild statement from Van Dijk.
Yeah.
You're better than that.
And as you know, it's never windy in Bournemouth.
Never, ever.
The Bournemouth Riviera. Absolutely not. And I think we should just stress what a great win it was for Andoni Areola's side.
Yes, fantastic job.
Brilliant for them. He still continues to do a great job. Doing a great job. Gabby, done a great job.
Jeff, always,
your
mate.
shift is done. Thanks, mate. Enjoyed your company. Don't forget to join me tomorrow. Koisty's back tomorrow morning, hopefully anyway. 6 a.m. Set your alarms if you possibly can. I'll certainly be here. Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Manny Petit coming up next.
Need you ever, whatever the weather. Up the Arsenal.